in.
It says it's working. I think it's working.
Nice.
We're only 11 minutes late.
Well, one day and 11 minutes.
Wait, the thing changed. I guess I didn't hit done. It says we're doing Gentoo, so I guess we have to do Gentoo some, which is fine.
Sure.
Because I have Gentoo's running, the one that we tinker with. I haven't updated it in like 2 or 3 months. So
yeah,
if we tinker with the Gentoo at all, that's going to be an interesting situation.
I still got a VM that's runnable.
Well, that's the one. Yeah. Oh, I actually upgraded my what do you call that machine? My VM machine. What do you call that?
Virtual
Proxmox.
machine. Oh, yeah, I have one in Proxmox. Yeah,
my Proxmox machine. I had 16 gigs of RAM in it, and I wasn't running up to running out of RAM or anything like that, but I was at like 10 or 12. And when the OS takes about 1.5 gigs, I'm at like 14. So it's not like I was in trouble, but I couldn't really spin up new VMs, which is annoying.
Oh.
So I was like, well, what do I do? Apparently, Crucial had a 10% off sale. So I got 30.
You just buy RAM.
Yeah, well, that's the answer. I bought 32 gigs of RAM for $60.
Nice. That's a good deal.
What a deal that was. And so now we're running quite good.
I have a 2-node cluster, and I use air quotes on the cluster part because 2 nodes is not a cluster.
No.
But I have 2 nodes.
You can't have a quorum with just 2, Dan. Buy another.
I do need another.
Right now.
Maybe.
Let's go to Amazon.
Soon.
Let's go. All right. So
it's totally possible that it'll happen. They aren't anything special. They're just those little tiny, teeny tiny desktops. Tiny micro size things. And so they probably take SODIMMs.
They do? The laptop little memory?
Yeah, the laptop kind. Yeah.
Because that's what mine is. Mine's a Lenovo M715Q, the AMD one.
Right.
And it takes laptop memory, SODIMMs. So,
right.
Yeah, super.
I'm sure these do too. They got 16 gig in each of them. So, 32 when you stretch it across your cluster. So, it does give you some flexibility, though, to be able to move things back and forth, even without the quorum.
Right. Yeah. That's actually kind of super
important. I usually shut down most stuff anyway, whenever I'm upgrading and know I'm going to reboot one of them. And so I just keep the bare minimum stuff running, honestly, like DNS and things you need, right?
Right.
And you can migrate them back and forth as long as you don't lose a node in the process. So, hey, that's what backups are for. You got to test those out eventually.
Right. I mean, when you force yourself to do it, that's what better way and time than to just force it sometimes, right? I mean,
yeah,
you're panicking, but slightly less, which is. That's pretty
good. And I don't know. I mean, at what point does your home lab become production? I don't know.
Day one. Well,
probably,
no.
Yeah.
The moment it affects other people in your family, then it's production. If that DNS goes down and someone goes, Dad, then it's production.
Well, in theory, the router could pick up DNS if my Pi-hole.
Yeah, does the forwarding happen properly? That's
right.
If that's the case, then okay, then you're good to go. That's failover already. You've got a bit of failover going, and everything's cool. But yep, if something bad were to happen, if that machine shuts off, and someone would complain in the house, it's production.
Yeah, no, that's probably true. Although most of the stuff that I host is just for my benefit. I don't think anybody else knows that it actually exists.
Oh, yeah, same. I have a ton of those things. All right. twitch.tv/ that's what it that's what it is. Okay. There. Cool. Hey, look at that. It even fits. Yeah. Cool. Post toasties.
So I guess the really important stuff I actually run in Linode, because that's the stuff for the show and the stuff that we share and that sort of stuff.
Like SyncThing? You have SyncThing running in that?
Oh, so SyncThing does run in my Proxmox cluster.
Ah, okay.
So I have a unique setup there. Man, I don't know what happened between you and I and my desktop sync thing,
Hold
and
on.
that
That
stopped.
sounds like a movie title. You and I and my desktop.
Yeah, and so that stopped syncing. Remember we went through a whole thing
Yeah,
there?
we had to remake it.
Yeah. Well, that's when I created a VM for it.
Oh,
And
okay.
so
So the VM was the fix.
that was the fix. That runs all the time. And that's what you're connected to. But I also
Mm-hmm.
run sync thing on my desktop too. And so I sync my desktop to my VM, which then syncs to you. And then likewise the reverse.
Ah,
When you
okay.
sync back to the VM, it syncs down to my desktop.
I
So
see. Okay.
that's a backup and a sorts, right? Because it's in multiple places for me at that point.
Right.
Plus I back it up too, but I mean,
I don't back mine up. I mean, I just have the
no.
data. But I don't back
I
up.
don't I don't back it all up. I back up like the final episode. So when you send me back the audio file, I put that on my Nextcloud
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, okay.
file
Actually,
as well.
then
So then I've got it in I have it in 3 places here in home.
okay. Then I do okay. According to
3
that
different
definition,
machines. Yeah.
right. According to that definition, I do back it up. So I have
Mhm.
if the if my Raspberry Pi 2, that thing is hanging on, man, by a thread. It is.
Mhm.
I'm gonna run this Pi 2 into the ground. It's gonna be
Hey,
so cool.
if it's working.
It is. It's I have a hard capped limit of 7 megabytes per second in, out, together. That's total. Like
Right.
that's all it can handle, right? So
That's all the
it can't
yeah.
even use the 100 megabits per second that it has
Oh yeah, no, probably not, right?
because apparently the Ethernet is on the same bus as the USB is on. So writing and reading to the USB hard drive that I
Right,
have
right.
it all stored on is on the same bus as the networking. So I can only
Mm,
push at 7 megabytes per second, which then leaves, what is it? So if it's 8 megabits per megabyte, that means that there's like 11 ish megabytes total without any overhead. That leaves me
mhm.
like 3 or 4 megabytes per second right. And then you factor in the overhead. Anyway, long story
Yeah.
short, I can only push at 7 megabytes per second, which is fine. Um, but this little Pi has been chugging along since I rebuilt, which was probably at the beginning of season 4, right? That's been months ago now.
Yeah, sounds right. Maybe
It
even the end of 3?
it could have been. It very well could
Yeah.
have been. So it's been at least a year. Well, okay, it's been about a year at least with this machine, which is really kind of cool. I like that. I like that a lot. But anyway, um, yeah. So I'm gonna run this Pi into the ground, running sync thing. But now I'm starting to think about doing the notes thing.
Mm,
And do I use that sync thing? Do I use a different sync thing? What do I do?
mm,
I
right,
could
right.
probably
How do
use
you
that
sync
sync
your
thing.
stuff around? You
Yeah.
might. I mean, that
But
works.
well, yeah. I mean, why not?
Well, I mean, you could use that or your Nextcloud. Either thing would technically work, right?
It would.
Depends on the back end that's acceptable for the Notes app that you end up finally picking.
Maybe. This is where the Gentoo focus is. Yeah.
Yeah, soon, hopefully. Yeah.
I heard you guys mention Gentoo on the stream, so I thought I'd join.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
it's just like
I did.
Beetlejuice, right? Just say it 3 times.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't do it on purpose, actually.
So, I heard somebody mention Pi 2 and Nextcloud. Those do not mix very well.
Not Nextcloud.
No,
Sync thing.
Nextcloud's not Sync thing
Okay.
on the Pi 2. Nextcloud's on something else.
Yeah, I could run.
I was about to say that the Nextcloud desktop client is too heavy for a Pi 2, and you will burn that thing.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So all
Yeah,
of
yeah,
my
yeah.
Pis are headless. I use them for server things, and my Pi 3 could probably handle the Nextcloud server. I don't know how well, but I bet it could. And then
Yeah,
I've
not
got
well. Yeah.
what is my Pi 4 doing? It's doing something. Wow, I can't even remember. Oh, it's running Fresh RSS and Gentoo.
That makes sense.
Yeah, all on Docker. So, and then my Pi 3, what's my Pi 3 doing? It's doing something. One of those is, maybe it's doing nothing, actually. I don't know what it's doing. Here, hang on. Oh, that's right. That's gonna, hold on. But I don't know how to, we gotta do all this live, man. I don't know. No, too much. No, still too much. Still too much. There we go. That's good enough. Cool. All right. Oh wait, Gen 2, right? Is it alive? Hey, it is. Awesome. What was my password? Okay, so yes, Gen 2 is for real. We do have a Gen 2. But not right now. What I need is this guy. Nope. We're gonna figure out what my Pi 3 is doing. I don't know what it's doing.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Do a little inventory. That's cool.
Is it doing nothing? Bad Pi 3. You're doing nothing? Oh, I think that's okay, because my Pi 3 had Gentoo on it, but then I felt bad that I wasn't actually utilizing my Pi 4 to its like extent. So I moved that over to the Pi 4, and then now my Pi 3 is not doing anything. My Pi 2 is doing sync thing, and it does the little web interface thing, but that's it.
Right.
It's all headless. So my
You
Pi
have
4's
a Pi 4 doing nothing, but you have the Pi 2 doing everything.
well, isn't that the way it works, right? Like the Pi 4 would be like the manager, right? The CTO, right?
Yeah, C-level exec.
Right. And they're obviously making their paycheck, right? Like they do enough work. I mean, because I mean,
Sure.
what else does a C-suite do, right? I mean, they do all the work, all the heavy lifting, and then they make all the people that they just hired last week, and they're still onboarding, and they're like, guess what? You got to do all the work. That's the way it all works, isn't it? And then the Pi 3, I thought the Pi 3 was doing a lot of work. It was doing nothing.
He's on sabbatical.
Yeah. There you go. It's on medical leave, so it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
But no, the
He'll
Pi
be back,
4, the Pi 4 is
rested
doing
up, ready to go.
right. Exactly. So we're just waiting. The Pi 4 is doing Fresh RSS and Gentoo, so it's actually doing stuff.
Yeah, Fresh RSS is it's not too much, but it's something. I mean, it's got to run the web and all
It's got
that,
to
right?
reach out every hour or so, right? To check out
whatever. It reaches out quite a bit, honestly.
Ah,
oh my
weird. I
God.
just use Emacs for that.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, but I want it to be able to be accessible from my phone,
Everywhere.
my tablet, my laptop, my other laptop, my other laptop, my desktop, my other desktop, and
Emacs.
Yeah.
yeah, but
Emacs has an official Android client.
oh goodness. But
That's interesting.
How do you do Control S, Control K, Control F, and Control
I never thought
whatever
about that.
With the on-screen keyboard.
Oh,
And yes, it is exactly as Cancer says you could imagine. But thankfully, Android has amazing keyboard support for Bluetooth. As well as USB.
Yeah. Okay.
It actually Android actually supports mouse and keyboard a lot better than iOS does.
Yeah.
Really? I thought iOS's mouse and keyboard support was actually pretty good.
It's good, but the window management sucks.
Oh,
I'll buy that.
I just command tab. It's fine. Window management. How many windows can you fit on an Android screen? You can do split screen in iOS.
You can do split screen.
iPad.
So it depends on the ROM that you're using, but I'm talking
not
just
official Android. I'm talking official Android.
I'm talking AOSP. This is basically as official as it gets.
Okay.
You can have up to 5 windows split.
Yeah.
But how can you even read anything?
You kind of can't.
Okay, right. So this is this is like those
thankfully-
guys that are running 1080p on like 12-inch screens and being like, yeah, I can totally read fine. No, I get that you can see the letters or whatever, but when you have to lean in to like when you're reading like output, you have to lean in. That's too much, man. You got to scale that baby up. Scale it up. Further. No, further. Nope. No, a little more. Look. There it is. That's the one. Yeah. And you only end up with one thing on the screen.
Yeah, splitting the screen's actually not bad.
Yeah, but Android also supports like virtual desktops too, so it's not that bad.
Well, I guess like in iOS, like isn't every app, even split screen, is a virtual desktop, right? Like, isn't that how that works? That's even how Android works, right? Isn't it like it's just like every app is kind of a virtual desktop, really? Because everything is meant to be full screen.
You're talking to a guy that's never touched an Apple device, so
yeah,
I hold no comment.
Okay, all right, interesting. Hold on, Dan. You look like you're getting answers.
No, I was looking at my phone.
To
look at the split screen and thinking about splitting it more than 2 ways, and that hurts my brain.
Yeah. Well, that's why I can't really get into swaying things like window management.
I could do it on my laptop. Fine, that's big enough.
Sure. Right. I mean, quarter scaling or quarter tiling is probably about as far as I've go.
Depending. Yeah.
I've been making use of Sway and other tiling window managers for almost 3 years now, and I'll be honest with you, I never split the screen horizontally more than 2 windows.
Oh, vertically.
Right. Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, vertically.
But like you've got to have real, like you got to have software that can be super duper small to actually like scale it or to.
That's what you're putting in there,
like, vertically, right?
It's called terminals.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I think I can't really get along with tiling window managers. Like I only ever have like one terminal open ever going. Because I'm only ever doing one. I can't focus like that.
I mean, I've got, let's see, right now I'm utilizing all 16 of my workspaces. Let's count my terminals here. That screen has 4 terminals open right now.
Yeah, I just close them down. I'm like, that job is like truly on the back burner. I just close them down. I can't do it because I'll get distracted, man.
Well, don't make me count my TMUX sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's the other thing. You can use TMUX for a bunch of that. Right?
See, at that point, like I would be opening up TMUX sessions within TMUX sessions because I forgot I had a TMUX session open, and then it would just be Inception all the way down, and I'd be like, where am I even? And then, like I'll like.
On my Gentoo server, when I actually SSH into it, I have it hooked into BashRC to automatically run TMUX list, so that way I can see all my TMUX sessions.
Yeah. Well, that's a good idea. On. That's actually a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. That's crazy though. It's crazy to me that like I can't keep that much straight. I guess is really my problem.
My big thing is that it's really just like a focus thing for me. Where if I close like these terminals, I forget what I was doing.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like I think I'm the same way. So like it's
just
like
the opposite, right?
One job at a time. Otherwise, my brain will explode, or I'll forget that I have 600 jobs going. We're on one side of the spectrum or the other, right in the middle. We just focus on one thing. And actually, I think that's actually pretty true because, like, if I'm going through and I need to update everything, like, I'll SSH into one thing, update it, complete it, exit, and then SSH into the next thing. Like, it's too much.
I just let Ansible do that. I got an Ansible.
Well, that's the better way to do it is to not think about it at all.
I don't even let Ansible do it. I just enable automatic updates on all the systems.
Well, I do
have
that on some stuff, but it doesn't. That's fine. There's some stuff that I don't.
yeah, and
Whatever.
I
Just
guess
run the
maybe I
Ansible
like
playbook. It takes care of it.
yeah. I guess I
Including
just like looking
Gentoo,
at
which
the
is
output. It's fun.
Mhm.
a bad idea. But yeah, I have an announcement for you. You're accidentally become an operating system maintainer.
Oh yeah, what? Oh,
Yeah.
hold on. Of Gentoo?
No, actually, this is a Fedora. This is a Fedora Atomic spin that I've been working on for a while now
Mm?
for my
Okay.
home theater computer, and I
Mhm.
figured out how to make a deployable ISO image that you can install with pre-generated user accounts. So all you have to do is just hit next, 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 next in the installer, and have a working home theater computer.
Huh.
Nice. That's kind of cool.
The power of atomic machines, right? Like, cause
Yeah.
here, hold on. Let me. I don't know if you're watching the thing. Here, wait. There it is. There it is. So I was telling Dan, I finally made use of my little video capture card. So I'm piping the Aurora machine to the live stream, but that way I can have all kinds of things. I can keep the OBS machine separate from whatever I want to
Right.
bring in today. And today it's the Aurora machine, and I'm actually kind of stoked about all
Yeah.
of this immutable stuff. No, not immutable anymore. Well,
Composable.
hold on. Right, let me go to.
Not even
Yes, thank you
composable.
very much. Let's go to Silverblue. What do they say?
Triggered.
They say atomic. They've moved to the word atomic. Is that right?
Yes.
Is Oh, immutable doesn't even show up anymore. Interesting.
No. Well, because and the reason for that is because I accidentally picked fights again with developers.
Yeah.
As one
Fedora,
does.
Silverblue,
Civil
and all these
discord.
and all these atomic spins are not immutable. They
Right.
aren't.
It's true.
What they are is reproducible.
Yes.
In sort of
Yep.
the same way that NixOS is.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But it's not declarative like NixOS.
Right.
Well, you got YAML files and stuff. I saw.
Yeah, but that's on your base. It's not. It's like Nix is. That's how you change it, as well, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So the way you change you just have to spin up a whole new image,
Well, you have to rebase, right?
and then you
Well,
layer on top.
Or layer.
There are ways there are ways like layering with RPM tree overrides and such.
Hmm.
But I mean the
Which
the word.
basically,
Go ahead. Sorry, I'm sorry.
but yeah,
But I feel like immutable wasn't that far off. I just feel like nobody knows what
no,
immutable
it wasn't
means.
far off.
Because the base itself is read only. Like you cannot change the base while you're running. You have to do weird layery things on top of that. So like
Right.
I mean immutable was pretty good. I wasn't a fan of it because I don't think anybody knew what it meant. I think anybody outside of any of the if you knew what GitHub meant, then you could digest the immutable word. Like it wasn't that far off. But I feel like that's why that word wasn't particularly good. And atomic is really not any better in that sense because we split the atom. So I mean, like you could change it, right? I mean, it just turns into death and destruction, which is not great. But like, is that what happens when we split the Fedora Silverblue? Your laptop explodes?
It must.
That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. So I don't know. I mean, I don't even know that. What's George's new word is composable, right?
Well, he's in the chat. He'll let us know.
Oh, is he? Oh, hey George. I didn't. See, it's too many windows, man. I'm not a good live streamer guy person.
Is it George or Jorge? Are we like?
Well,
George.
I think. Well, yeah, I think.
That's sort of the
technically-
confusion he says.
Right, yeah. I think I would imagine it's either or, but he goes by George, right? Like I've seen lots and lots of George. I could swear I've even heard himself call himself George, right? But I do agree. My first reading of the matter was Jorge, but
Well, because it sounds cooler, right? It's just like Greek swear words are the best swear words, and it's got oomph behind it. You want some gusto, you know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking anyway.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, I guess like the whole thing is like I don't even know that there's a perfect word for it. So I mean, I just like the word atomic because it sounds like science, and I'm super into that. So you know that's great. I like that word.
You're an '80s kid, right?
Uh-huh. Well, yeah.
So
I'm on the
Atomic. I think Atomic for us, there were toys. There was Atomic editions of
Oh
things. There was
yeah.
anything that had to do with nuclear waste. Teenage Mutant Ninja
Yeah.
Turtles. The guy with the
Oh.
mop. You know
Dude.
what I mean?
Dude,
So
so
Atomic
much.
was very much in our kind of wheelhouse. I would assume.
Very much a Ninja Turtles guy. I mean, like,
Yeah.
oh yeah. I'm so much into the turtles. I just like it doesn't matter where I'm sitting. There's just random turtle stuff around me. So yeah, that's definitely a thing. But yeah, so I mean, but I'm totally into it. Like this, I think is ultimately where Linux was always meant to be. Like Google figured it out with the Chromebook, man. Like it just put it all together and give it to someone. You can't break it. It's the whole point of the whole thing. And I really dig it. I absolutely dig the entire thing. So once a KDE one came to be, I hopped on it. That was Aurora, and this Aurora's not been around for very long, right?
No.
Maybe a couple of months.
I think it's actually still brand new.
Yeah, right. And so I was like, oh, wait a minute. You're telling me that I can get all of the stuff that I've been using on on a mutable system, which is the wrong word. But I could get that in one of the universal blue downstream whatevers. Yeah. Jumped on it as soon as I possibly could. Still gonna finish out this Gentoo thing. And I think what I want to do, if I can get Dan on board, is to do a whole immutable thing. Can we get along with the immutables? And if we can, I mean, yes. Yes. That's the idea.
Yeah.
Ooh. 10 minutes?
think
Your kid goes to bed in 10 minutes? I don't believe it. Mine fights forever and ever and ever. If I didn't make her go to bed, I don't think she'd ever go to bed. Like ever at all. In any way.
Mine's the same.
So he's already 9 minutes in though, Leo. You forgot about that.
Okay. So all right. Okay. All right. So 10 minutes is what we try for. And then 45 minutes later they might be asleep. I got it.
Well, at least quiet.
Yeah, exactly. Luckily though, mine usually just ends up doing something weird like reading or something. So it works out. It works out okay.
Right.
Yeah, you're getting one over me reading a book. You're really winning.
It's a good way to put yourself to sleep. That's fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but she's reading, so it's fine.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't have to worry about that. I mean, mine are teenage and beyond.
Yeah, yours are big
So
now.
once they get to that age,
they're whole
they sleep all the time. They sleep all the time.
Yeah, they're immutable humans. Can't get rid of them.
Yeah, they sleep at odd times. Let me put it that way. Yeah.
That's me though. Like, man, I struggle. I really struggle with the 9 to 5. It's brutal on me, man. Like if I could do like a 12 to like 9 or something, that would be ideal. But like stuff happens in the morning and stuff happens in the evening. So like I can't anyway. Like so like, you know, I'm forced into the 9 to 5 lifestyle and I really hate it. Really hate it.
I miss the being a chef though. Like I miss the back-to-backs. Like I used to love that. So like you do, I don't know, 3 a.m. till 1 p.m. buffet shift. You'll have a 5 to 6 hour break. Then you'll do dinner shift again, prep for buffet, and then I don't know, maybe be done at something like 4.
Yeah.
Like something like that was great because you'd end up having kind of a 4-day work week, kind of the way
Yeah.
it sort of banged together.
Yeah.
And that way I had a weekday or a weekday and a half to get stuff done. This is before family though. But like with that
Right.
kind of thing. And then you had sort of a real good block to spend for yourself. And that's where, you know, at that time, I think I was into water cooling, which costs a fair few hours. That's not something that you can
Well,
sort of
hold
knock
on.
together.
Like closed loop water cooling or the open loop
No,
add
this is, well,
everything
we're talking 10 years ago.
Oh.
There was no closed loop. Was if you got a hose and you plug both ends to it. That was
Yeah. Yeah. The open loop, you close it at the end.
that's it.
Yeah.
A bucket was the closed part of my loop at some point. I mean, it worked.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, it was great for testing.
Right.
That's right.
This one idea I had was to have a bar fridge with a full bucket of water and then a hose going in. So instead of having to worry about something completely sealed up, you're not going to tip over a bar fridge. So you keep the bar fridge closed, keep it on, keep the water cold, and just pump in, you know, sort of 4 degree. Oh no, it was about 5 degrees sort of temp water all the way through.
Still pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
mean,
I wanted a fish tank. Like I wanted to have fish
yes
in the computer. And then because warm water is actually pretty good for most of them. Like you know, low 70s, mid 70s.
Yeah, the seagoing types. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the salt waters like to be a little chillier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always want to do the oil submerged, but I just the nerves and the complexity to it, I was just never game for. And also, I don't know where I'd get that liquid, that oil, that you use in transformers. That's what you use. You use the oil that's in transformers for electrical cables, and that's like completely fine to use. And you submerge it in a fish tank.
Just use mineral spirits.
Oh, mineral spirits. Yes.
Baby oil.
Maybe.
And it smells good too.
It's technically the same. I mean, you know, it's just got fragrance.
That's it. So Team Linux,
actually,
are you on an immutable? Are you immutable or immutable?
Well, we won't be able to talk if you use.
I'm on the Atomics right now. I'm streaming from my Bazite desktop.
Nice.
I put Aurora DX on my laptop, and I actually threw Bazite on an LCD deck as well.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
If you want to be extra spicy, there is an immutable Gentoo project.
Yeah.
Get out! Linux. Are you for real?
Yes, it's Xenia Linux, and let me explain to you how this thing works.
Wait, Xenia, like the original mascot, Xenia.
Yeah, like Xenia, the warrior princess.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. That's Xena. That's different.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's close though.
Well, I mean, how long has it been since I seen that show?
All,
like 15
all
years?
I'm saying is, I grew up in the '90s. I know who Xena is.
Yeah, she's the warrior.
She's the warrior princess, is what she is.
She will destroy you, man.
Yeah. I actually remember liking that show. I don't know why though.
Yeah, it was a great show.
You know why?
I don't remember anything about it though.
I just needed Xena to bench press me a couple times. That's really all I needed.
Right.
All right. Okay, hold on. Xenia. Where do I find this? What's the website? Because I haven't found it.
Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Because Xenia.jp is not it.
No, that's like some Windows something or other.
Let's see here. Did I find it? Did I just accidentally find it in just like one go?
You probably did.
XeniaLinux.com.
Is it really Xenia?
Yes,
Linux?
And you will appreciate the website. You will appreciate
really
the website. We must show it to the stream.
Oh, it's on the stream. I can't tell what it is. Is this like one of those I things?
It is a bash terminal
George.
for your website.
Oh, it is. Okay, can you ls? Oh, you sure can. Whoa. Oh, CD blog for sure. What? Hold on. So what do? You just run blog? No. How do you just type blog? Oh, you just type blog. Okay, cool. Okay.
Of course you do.
Yeah, because it was definitely in my path. How would I know that?
But anyways, to explain the insanity of this project, it is a Gentoo image using the GNOME desktop packaged up as a tarball. Or packaged up as a compressed XZ image or something like that.
Okay.
And
hold on, we just got done being scared of XZ.
Yeah.
I
But
uninstalled it off of my entire machine. I can't run this.
well, I'm sorry, but anyways, to continue here, and when the system boots, it uses grub, and then it unpacks it just like a snap would, or just like you would for a snap, as just a giant loopback device for your operating system. And then the only thing that you can actually write to is the home directory.
Interesting.
That's kind of
You
wild.
can't do Gentoo things with this.
Well, yeah, I would expect not.
Right. I wouldn't imagine there would be a whole lot of emerging happening, but you would just get the new tarball and then splat that on as an update and then like move on with your life.
Yeah, and their updater literally just W gets the new tarball. So
yeah, right.
So about every
and
week,
and then you boot into it.
That's my favorite thing about these entire systems is that like I don't have to think about what's happening underneath. I get the new one, I put the new one, and then everything just keeps happening the way that it needs to happen. Like I do it for a job. Like it is my job to know what's happening underneath. So when I run my machine at home, I don't want to think about that anymore. I just want it to go. So this is right up my alley, man. Hold on. There's an emerge. It's doing emerge things. What is this? Fox merge.
It goes back to the mobile phone analogy we've used in the past, right? It's just sort of like it just replaces the whole thing and everything works as per normal, no changes to the user side of thing.
Well, right, because I think that's what normal people want. I think
exactly. Yeah.
It's super important for regular people.
George is here to help us.
Thank God. Oh my God. Yeah. Welcome, George.
You poor man.
I know.
Watch your videos and I feel so bad,
dude.
And I'm here to help.
Thank you.
I'm here to help.
Yeah, I just want to. So for anybody that hasn't scrolled down to the comment section, the very first thing George said to me was "ha ha," and then it was like, "I know I'm in trouble. I know it's."
I'm waiting for George to say something damage. Yep. I'm waiting because I got a comment from somebody that I need to stop disagreeing with George on things. So I'm waiting for something to disagree with him on.
Hey, well, I'm all about disagreement. It's just hard on Mastodon. It's hard to communicate on Mastodon.
Yeah,
which
it is
absurd to me.
Yeah,
so I was like, look, we're just gonna end up talking past each other. So I saw you were on here, so now we can.
Okay. All right. Well, because like Mastodon, right? Like I'll go 6 hours without looking at it, and the conversation is already over by the time I get back to it. So it's,
usually,
yeah.
And then a month later, I go back and I find all these threads that I didn't know about, where people are like, "Help me!" I was like, "Ugh."
Whoops.
Yeah.
Sorry, guy. There's a website for that though.
Right.
Okay, so I imagine the Gentoo guy and the composable guy are on absolute opposite ends of the spectrum of Linux.
Hold on, this is good content. Are y'all recording this?
Of course. Well, it's going out to the internet, so you know.
Well, we got to get our bang for the buck.
Yeah.
Let me announce.
There's a playback.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Would you believe me if I told you that I would use an atomic image if I didn't have so many issues with like how RPMs are packaged on Fedora?
You know why? Yes. The answer is yes. You know why I would believe you? Because I really do feel like it's the way that things are gonna end up anyway. I mean, even if you don't want to do it today, you're probably gonna do it in a year or two. Because I mean,
what's your handle? 10 Liege.
Yeah.
On the.
See,
if you want to find me, by the way,
do it too. I'm not the only
If you guys
guy.
need to ever find me, by the way, just go to 10liej.com/stalker, and that is how you will find me everywhere.
Got it.
Do you really
that
call
web
it
page is not
/stalker?
publicly listed? If you want to find the publicly listed page, you go to 10liej.com/contact. But if you want to find me, it's stalker, because you're a dirty stalker.
That is correct. I find you everywhere. But I mean,
I happen to be everywhere, but I'm not in every single Git repository I ever look at, like Neil Gampa.
Oh my God, he's everywhere. It's hilarious. I love him so much because he's always over here, just like, oh yeah, that was me. I improved that thing.
No, he wrote a commit to fix a snap package in this random Wayland compositor I never heard of before.
Yeah, of course.
And I go to look at like this project because I just randomly encountered it via Mastodon post. I'm like, what is this thing? I've never seen this before. It's a mirror-based Wayland compositor built and inspired by Awesome WM. And like, okay, for one thing, it's a Wayland compositor, which, people complain that there's not enough variety of those. And it's mirror-based, which is weird.
Not really. I feel like, wasn't Mirror pretty good at what it did? It just never caught on, and it never got outside of Ubuntu.
Yeah, but who the heck is building things off of Mirror? Well, apparently this guy.
Right? Why not? It's one of those sleeper projects that all of a sudden it's going to be like, oh, yeah, we were really working on that Wayland thing, but all of a sudden Mirror did everything we wanted it to, so boom, it was Mirror.
Yeah, well, all Mirror really is just a Xorg library, much like WL roots these days. It's not its own display server like it originally was supposed to be.
Well, maybe one day. Maybe that guy. Maybe Neil Gompa is going to be the one to push it over the edge.
They're going to save the Linux desktop someday.
Right.
Maybe.
It'll be them.
Maybe. He's getting close. He's getting close.
Neil's a great guy.
Yep. Every single time we talk about him, or talk to him, he's always helping.
He'll probably show up. You want me to ping him?
I guarantee you he'll be here. He's been here before, and he's the one.
He's shown up. He's showed us up and shown up.
He's the one that encouraged us to roll our own distro, and it didn't seem like it was a thing that we would actually do until all the immutable composables, image-based came up, and I was like, we could do that. We could have a offshoot, and just that could be ours. And then if anybody was like, hey, Linux user space, do you have a distro? And be like, yeah, we kind of do. Kind of.
Well, and I feel like he arm wrestled us to, use Fedora for Plasma 6 when we were testing that out for the show.
Yeah, surprise! Fedora on Wayland. They took it out, so there's no X on. I was looking to see if I could do OBS with X so that I could do the QSV stuff with Intel, because all I have is an Intel chip in this machine. No, so I'm on Wayland, and so that's why I'm doing all the weird, like plugging things into things to make the stream do the thing easier.
Yeah.
But we're here. Hey, Popey. I'm definitely a nerd.
Alan here? Oh, I need to get the chat up.
He's in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's here. Oh, see, you bring George, and George brings everybody. That's what happens.
We gotta use the network effects, right?
That's right.
Yep.
That's the thing. All right. I don't see chat, so let me get that up. You gotta watch Alan like a hawk. He'll leave a snarky English comment somewhere, and you gotta make sure you address it.
Listen, you just gotta drink the cuppas when the cuppas come. That's just the way that it goes.
I know that Chris Titus Tech was very unhappy with X11 kind of being removed from Bazite 40.
It's because of OBS, I guarantee it, man. I guarantee it.
Are people not streaming with Wayland and OBS?
No, you can.
Our last stream actually was on Wayland and OBS. But the thing that I'm not getting with Wayland and OBS is the QSV. So like I can squeeze a little bit of performance out of using the hardware rendering.
Right, the hardware acceleration stuff.
Yeah. And that doesn't work for you?
Oh, so it does work, it just doesn't work for me.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm sorry, that's a question. That didn't sound like a question, but it was.
It should work, I think.
Hold on, look, actually, check it out. I have it on the live stream. I don't know if you're watching that.
I don't come into the studio often, so I just fired up my OBS. Let me see what I got.
Okay, so when I go to settings and not video, stream? No. What is it?
Output?
It's one of the output. Here we go. Video encoder. All I have is software X264. It's the only option.
Okay, so I have, this is just a stock Bluefin machine. X264 SVT-AV1.
Okay.
GStreamer encoder H265, GStreamer encoder H264, FFmpeg VAPI HEVC, FFmpeg VAPI H264, and AOM AV1. Which one of those am I supposed to use?
I don't know. I'm on an Intel machine only, so I'm looking for QSV, but you must have like cool hardware.
AMD. Yeah, it sounds like an AMD machine, right?
Yeah, so I have a 6800 in here.
So probably the VAPI one of the VAPI ones, probably. I don't know. Yeah.
I'll ask someone who knows.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm looking for
AV1, right? AV1's ideally what we want, right?
Well, that's the open standard.
Yeah,
that's the new stuff.
That's the newest stuff.
Yeah,
but does Twitch want that stuff is the question. Well, Twitch or YouTube or wherever it is that you're actually streaming to.
Yeah. All right, I'll investigate that.
Ah.
Let's fix your vocabulary problem though.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, let's
All
do
It's gonna be
right.
a long night if you use 5 different words to describe. all
Yeah.
this.
I don't know. Is it composable today or is it image based? What? Okay. I know
Both?
composables the latest, right word?
I think it depends on who you ask. Like, so what problem are you trying to solve? Let's back up.
I want the Chromebook experience on my
Okay.
Linux desktop so that I don't ever have to think about breaking my
Sure.
machine. Just
Okay.
keep my user stuff over there, system over here. Just update the system. That's what I want. What do I call that?
Alan's already like every question is answered with a question. Listen, Alan, we're gonna solve this problem today. I just need to understand, where people
Well,
are coming from. Because I just call it Linux. Believe it or not, I just call it Linux. Like,
Awesome.
Okay.
people are
Alright.
just like over rotating on it, right? Like,
Yeah.
first of all, the whole immutable thing was like a mistake, right? So like Fedora kind of walked it back a little bit, right? But
Mhm.
then called it atomic, so that kind of explained it, but it
Right.
doesn't, right? And you notice Red Hat's products aren't called atomic, right? They're
Mhm.
going with rel image mode or package mode.
Yeah.
Right? So
Ah.
they
Yeah,
have
and
a
I
separate
said that at the end of our conversation, I said image based was
Right.
probably the best way to kind of describe that type of thing.
So I think if we look at, I know some people aren't going to like this. If we look at Linux as a product, right? If a thing is a product, right? I don't see it. You're treating them like they're separate SKUs, right? Like if you went to CompUSA in 1995, you would have Fedora Atomic and then Fedora in separate boxes, right?
Right.
And then we've ended up accidentally. This is the problem with committees. Yeah, you end up accidentally having 2 separate things when it's really like Fedora. Like the bits are like the exact same, right? You do consume it different, so the model is different, right? So I think people tend to conflate the whole immutable thing. Like, what do we call these? Like in the same way that we don't say sudoable Linuxes, we don't say Fedora Wayland. Like, can you imagine if you started a thread that was like, we need to have Fedora Wayland edition and Fedora X edition?
I'm
even
pretty
though
sure I
Mhm.
saw that thread.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that thread actually
you're like,
exists.
why?
Yeah.
It's a transition. It's
Right.
a transitionary fossil,
Yeah.
right? So like, you can either spend a lot of time trying to classify a thing that's a transition, right? Or remember, this is a repave, right? So you're reformatting you don't upgrade to this, right? It is a clean install, right? Which is why I tend to describe it as a generational shift on how you're consuming your operating system versus the old way, right? So for me, that's what in cloud we call this a greenfield deployment, right? You
Mhm.
don't bring any of the old crap with you, right? You're
Nope.
like, okay, we're gonna start over, right? This we're gonna consume it this way. That means Wayland, no X, and then anything you hate about Linux that you don't want to support for the next 10 years. It's a great cutoff point, right, for you to say, all right, look, there's the own model, 30 years, 4%, not working, right? It worked for Chromebooks. You know why? Because they don't call it Linux.
Yeah.
They just say, here's your user
Yeah.
experience, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
when people say, what do I give my dad, right? I put Bluefin on his laptop and I say, here you go, open your browser. To them, the browser is the thing, right?
It is
So-
a lot of the operating system for them. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So other than Linux nerds hanging out at like a little lug like this, right? I think generally speaking, like when you're talking to other users and things, all that other stuff is an implementation detail, right?
Mhm.
So like when people say immutables, it's like you're picking the wrong thing to categorize these distributions on, right? Like people say you have immutables, you have MicroOS and you have Fedora Silverblue, right? OpenSUSE MicroOS and traditional OpenSUSE have more in common with each other than Aeon does with Silverblue or Bluefin, right? So like for me, I don't even classify those in the same pile, right? So when people say, "What do you think about immutable OSs?" right? That's not a category, right? I think the reason people tend to over rotate is I go, I've completely gone to this model, right? Like whereas some people are still trying to figure out if this is for them or not, right? So I say this: if you want a reliable Linux, right? Parts of the disk are going to be read only, right? If parts of the disk are not read only, then you have a system that needs to be maintained by a system administrator. And that's typically us, because I have an Ubuntu machine, and every 6 months, when a package breaks, I got to go do stuff, right? That's because that has a bunch of entropy at the system level that you can't account for with traditional packages, right? This is why, no matter if you hate snaps or not, right? Ubuntu users will end up with a way better experience when Ubuntu Core is finished in the fall, just by the virtue of the model.
Man,
right?
I was
now,
excited.
The implementation,
I'm excited for it. I still am.
I could go all day about the
Yeah,
problems
yeah,
with the
yeah.
implementation, right? Like, you know, I'm sure Popey has opinions, right?
Mhm.
But like what we're seeing is, so Canonical's going to have their way, right? That's driven by one vendor. This happens all the time, right? You have community stuff,
Right.
and then you have stuff that's a vendor, right? So, you know, Canonical's like, dude, we invested in snaps. This is what we're going to do. We're going to make an OS, right? And then finally, 20 years in, you'll have a reliable version of Ubuntu on your desktop, right? It's like, yay.
I'm waiting for it. I'm excited
And
for
then
it.
in the meantime, right, we have community-driven things that give you the same properties of those systems, right? Universal Blue, Bluefin, right? And then you have like the Fedora Atomic thing. And then, you know, on the enterprise side, I'm sure Red Hat's going to sell you something. You'll know in like a month, right? When they
It's
announce
coming.
whatever,
Yeah.
right? And then on the other hand, right, you have things like OpenSUSE, right, who are more taking a file system approach, right? They're like, well, we can get 90% of the way there if we just have snapshots on the file system by default, right?
Yep.
That's not the same as a system like Silverblue, right, which is more composable in a cloud native manner, right? So you can make your own custom OpenSUSE Eon, right? You just got to know RPM packages, right? Like you've been able to do that since the beginning of Linux distributions, right? You can always customize your stuff, right? The reason I use the word composable when I'm in cloud native, I say this a lot, is because what makes Fedora Silverblue different is not the atomic part, right? It's the fact that you can do all this customization with a Docker file, right? Which is the same way that the industry is managing all the applications, right? So you can now take the OS and then the apps and use a singular language like a Docker file with GitOps and a container runtime, right? And you could customize. Before, you couldn't do the OS. You can only do an app container, right? You have a Docker file that says from Ubuntu, right? Install these packages and then copy my Node app into it, right? And then you end up with a container that you throw at a server, right? And it has Ubuntu in there and your app, right? And you can deploy that on any cloud, Kubernetes, bare metal, doesn't matter, right? The important thing that Fedora did is it's just like that, except there's a kernel in there and the entire base OS is in there. So now instead of just saying, hey, my Node app, you can take someone who only knows Docker files can now spit out container images, right? This is also why we say it's not a Am I being too mansplaining? I'm sorry. I tend to blab.
No,
so,
I'm honest. I
no,
just
it's
love
good.
Listening to this kind of
we're
thing.
paying attention.
All right.
Personally.
So, right. So now the same skills that a lot of people know already in the field, right, are all of a sudden able to make customized operating experiences, right?
That's
like
what I'm
Universal
looking
Blue's like
forward
5
to.
people.
Yeah.
It's like 5 people, right? And a lot of us have ops background, but we don't have like distribution,
right?
Engine like packaging stuff. It only later on when we started to attract more people do we get the own packaging things, right? So that's why we don't call it a distribution, because now the entire model is flipped, right? If you go to Docker Hub, how many packages are in there?
Right.
So you'll be able to do that, except with what people commonly call Linux distributions.
Yeah, your whole system.
I call them custom images because distributions, who cares, right? Like, you're going to from your base image, and right now that's just Fedora, right? But, you can add OS tree to Debian. Endless OS has done it. There's still engineering work to do that, like custom layering, add your packaging. So it's like, I want this bit here, right? And then this gives me my base image, which, because it is a cloud native model, a lot of the stuff that you like about your Linux distribution doesn't apply on the metal anymore, right? So if you like Arch, like we have people that they install Bazite, but they want Arch, right? and they have an Arch container. And as far as they're concerned, every day they're using Arch. They're doing all that
Right.
Pac-Man stuff, and they're doing that. I use Ubuntu and Wolfie containers, and it doesn't matter. Like all the lines are blurred, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's very interesting for me because servers went through this in like 2016, right?
Yeah.
So like when I see people saying, I don't know if this is the future of Linux, I'm like, look, man, we're just trying to catch up the desktop to 2016.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, like this is
Yeah.
this is now the new baseline, and everything has to be better from this point forward. So that's the kind of mantra that that we're saying is like it doesn't matter what you call it, like it's still just Fedora, like and we are talking about the delivery mechanism. So if you have traditional Fedora and you have a kernel bug, I'm going to see the same kernel bug, right?
Right.
This model fixes the delivery mechanism so that the upgrades and stuff are more solid, and you don't get, oh no, I got to depackage, reconfigure A.
Mhm.
If you have third-party PPAs, you can still use them. You're just using them in a container. So when it breaks, right?
It breaks your container. Who cares? Yeah.
Yep. You just whip up a new one. And if it's important, you're going to declare that. You're going to declare that. Like all my containers are declarative, right? So on all my machines, I have the same, that gets built. I don't even use DNF. I actually destroy my containers and it does a Docker pull in the background. So like, I don't even care that DNF is still slow because like, it doesn't matter. Like you just automate the creation of the thing. And then you say, all right, at the end of the day, every single day, this has to look like this, right? And that gets built in CI, and then I just get it, right? And that removes a lot of the jank, because when you're upgrading systems in place, right, what we're doing is
all the
building
cruft gets
a fresh thing every day, right? Other than your dot files. So that's what happened to Chris Titus, is like he copied over a bunch of .config. Don't just copy .config over. Please, people, use the .file manager, right? So there was probably some cache. There's always some .cache file, like that whole directory always needs to be blown away. Right? So there's still things that need to be fixed, but at the system level, like we fixed this half of Linux, right? Now we got to tell KDE to stop stomping on .theme files and all that stuff. But it was never designed that way because, no one would ever have thought that you'd be able to swap out the system image, so cleanly, right? So these issues that people have with like .files and all that stuff, that'll get fixed eventually in time, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my spiel.
Okay.
Sorry, that was a lot.
I was sold before you started, but I mean, I'm extra sold. Can you be extra sold on it? Like, I'll buy it twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I want to know, my main question is, how do I get that cool rainbow dinosaur, but like in holographic and sticker? I want that. Yeah, that's what I want.
I'm gonna work on that. Those stickers are way more expensive than the traditional ones. So I'm working on that. They make this Sticker Wrap is the name of the company I use, and they make this slick holographic thing. And then I just found out how to put a QR code in your sticker.
Oh, dude, do it.
Nice.
Because right now we write out the URL, and I guess that's fine, but it's also kind of slick if the dinosaur just had, like, I don't know, maybe a collar with a QR code on it.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, because this my framework, the machine that when I minimize Firefox, this is what you're looking at. That only gets holographic stickers, only shiny cool ones. That's all it gets. I gotta
step up my game then.
Yeah, so I need that dinosaur, which is already fantastic, but I need it holographic. I need it.
Okay.
You ever get that Pokemon card and you're like, that's what I need.
Yeah.
I will buy 10 of those.
I just ordered 1,000 more.
Okay.
Of the normal. So what I do when I go to a conference, I bring like 1,000 of them.
I'll buy 1% of those.
1%. I'll just give it to you.
I'll take it.
Yes. Yeah.
Can I just sanity check something? Just so, because I think that was a great explanation, and I think my brain is still kind of reeling on it. But I was like,
it took us 2.5 years to be able to.
Well, that's good. I don't feel so bad now.
So you have like 700 more days. You're good.
It took a tech over T episode.
All right, I can work on it. But just because I like to break it down, I guess my background, I'm a sales guy, right? So it's always trying to bring things down to bite-sized chunks, understandable kind of elements and analogies, right? So for me, in my weird brain, I'm sort of thinking of like, if we're looking at the two models, like you were saying, to rename it, in my head, it seems like one is the static or traditional distribution, and the other one is kind of like an LCM, like a Linux composable model, which it really sort of sounds like some form of a script is really the trigger point, and then obviously you've got like you said, your main chunks that are completely replaceable, rather than, like you said, the kernel example is a good one, right? In a static model, that kernel has to be ripped out, rewritten, re-implemented, which obviously opens up the risk at something failing, falling over,
Right.
not triggering. Whereas in this model, because it is in an LCM, it's sort of like, right, you can configure what you want at time of pull down, and then whenever something does need to be updated, the main core of it gets flashed, essentially. Again, using that mobile phone analogy, it gets flashed over, but then everything else is remaining in. That's the power of like an LCM versus, let's say, a static. That's kind of where my brain is at if I'm trying to tell it down.
So normally, let's say you have your Linux and you want to make a modification, right? You're used to doing that, what they call at runtime, which is my computer is running, I want to add stuff, right? And then the package manager fires off, and then
does its checks, make sure everything's
it does it does a bunch of math to make sure your computer doesn't break, right?
Yeah.
And then it does.
Ideally.
Well,
potentially what it is, it might restart something in the background
right.
But just the service, not the whole system, right?
Right. And you have to test that. That's why it takes Debian so long to release, right? They got to check all. They're trying to account for all of that, right? Whereas this model is you're doing your customization at build time, not runtime, right? Your device you're never putting your device in, well, I guess harm's way would be one way to look at it, right? Unless you know what you really want,
Right.
So
you're not increasing the risk. You're not increasing the risk. Yeah.
Right. So what instead we choose to do is like, wait a minute, we could. So, and then we took the model a little bit further, which is like, I want to maintain my own thing, right? I'll just do it in GitHub, and then if 3 or 4 of us know what we want, right? You can just share the load, right? And then all you have to do is figure out your use case, right? So, Bazite, we're gonna make the best gaming thing, right? So if you have a config, and there's people in our Discord who help, on Chimera OS, Nobara, like we're sharing a lot of those patches and things like that. So this is actually a great example, right? Where it's like, if you go to Reddit, everyone's arguing about what the best gaming image is, right? When really it's like, it doesn't matter because they're sharing all the work, right?
Yeah.
How you're consuming it is different, right? So like you have that going on, and now you have that pattern of initially people are like, well, I don't like this because I want to do, the very first custom image is always someone like, I want to swap out Vim for something else, right? And then they'll make a whole image to like do that, right? Whereas the kind of cloud, because this pattern kind of comes from cloud native, right? Right, is who's making the best one of these? Who shares my vision of what Linux should be, and I'm just going to use theirs, right? And then we'll share it, right? And then that kind of distributed sharing of load moves us past the individual packages, right? Like there's stuff in Bluefin that I do not like, right? But some other person uses it but helps me maintain it, right? So you kind of say, okay, the use case for Bluefin is a Chromebook-like experience, right? We can either argue about packages all day, right? Or if you look at the percentage of a disk that Vim versus Emacs is, right? Like it's 0.001%.
I've been making these arguments.
I don't care.
Yeah, I've been making these arguments for a long time. I mean, we've been back and forth about the definition of bloat, and I'm like, it's not even that serious. Like,
okay,
dude.
I need to push back for a second here because
all
Emacs.
Right, I was waiting for you to come in here.
If we're looking at the size of the binary itself, Emacs is actually smaller than Vim.
Is it really? Oh man.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Because the Emacs binary is literally just an interpreter. Everything else is just
that's a good point. Yeah.
Lisp code written on top.
Lisp code, yeah.
Okay, so but at the end of the day, is all of the Emacs stuff bigger than all of the Vim stuff?
I mean, Emacs is not a text editor, so obviously it's going to be bigger.
Okay.
I wonder if we could build Bluefin inside of Emacs.
I bet you could.
Yes.
I bet you could.
Yeah, pretty much any question that you have is probably yes.
Okay, George, you know my HTPC image?
Yeah.
I build that inside of Emacs.
Do you really?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I knew it was true. I knew it was
true. Here, this is going to blow your mind. I'm going to rename things for you on the fly here.
Yes.
So,
Dan, fix it.
No longer Linux distribution. I'm going to call this Linux consumable. because
Oh,
you're the consumer and you're not pushing it out to the masses. You're making it for yourself and for
ooh.
your consumption.
So we're gonna
there
have
you
a
go.
Linux
Think
user
about that.
space consumable.
Consumable.
I'm telling you, man, because
Y'all are killing me.
I'm opinionated
We
about what
try.
I'd like. Yeah, I'd like a few things. I think me and Dan can kind of agree on what needs to be in the system, and I think once we decide what needs to be in the system, we're gonna have one of these. And
Yeah.
I can tell you
That's
though,
it. That's the takeaway is you can make your own your way.
yeah,
don't include too many flat packs. I
I'm-
made a 12 gig image. It was
Yeah.
I saw your post. We have a GitHub action. What you need to do is you run a GitHub action that deletes a bunch of crap on the GitHub builders, and that'll get you a ton of space back.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
Ping me on
I
Discord,
want
I
my
got you.
image to be like 25 gigs, and then we'll run that action, and then we'll
No.
bring some of it back.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, like, no, I need cider.
You
I
guys
need
need
a bunch of stuff.
I'm still trying to
Just-
figure out if I can get my image to be smaller because I think 3 gigs is a little bit bigger for something that just runs Kodi in a cage session.
Nah, man, go for 6.
Yeah, you don't want to see
It's
how big
double.
Bluefin
It's
DX
double.
is. It's just like-
So-
I have seen how big it is.
yeah.
So I love Dan's point about the consumable part, and I think you're more referencing like that the composable, right? The LCM kind of
Mhm.
model, right? For that.
Yeah.
And so that was one thing I didn't mention in my sort of piece, but like I want to add to it is like I think that also could shift not only sort of from a naming perspective, but considering that I think up until now potentially we've been having the full control version of Linux, which is where we've lost a lot of people, especially if we're trying to dump into the desktop consumer market, all that kind of jazz, right? Because the potential of breakage is very, very real. However, the LCM model, which has come on now, right, which is what we're doing with now, I think is more the future of, everyone's like, oh, when is Linux going to be the main, the desktop environment and stuff? I think the composable, which we might think on the surface is like, yeah, but you've got that customization. Isn't that going to be confusing to people? No, a company could then create whatever this ideal baseline would be, and sort of could label that as this is the consumer model, safe, easily updatable, not breakable, and then the full control version is the static distros. I think we started with full control, and now I think we could be evolving into a place where everyone, grandma, grandpa, auntie, uncle, whoever who is non-tech savvy is going to be able to. There's a potential there that could open that market up because there's less for them to destroy. There's less for them to break.
That's what I'm going to do for my dad. I'm going to
Yeah.
give him a framework laptop with
Yep.
Bluefin on it because we're going to be community supported by framework.
Nice.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
just found out.
And
Yeah.
honestly, like even as somebody that runs servers both personally and professionally, like I don't need all of that, man. Like I need to run my application. I do not care about what happens underneath. Keep that away from me. The less I have to think about, the better off I am. So if I can just run an image and then run my application on top of that image, I'm happy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yes, just
So my
give me that.
my servers, I use Flatcar Linux, which is similar to CoreOS, same basic concept, right? It's a kernel system and a container runtime, and that's it, right? So I deploy my new thing on my new hardware. I git clone my stuff, and I type Docker compose up.
Yeah,
Right.
I
yeah,
have a coffee, and it comes up the exact way every time.
exactly,
Exactly.
It even auto reboots in the middle of the night because it always comes up.
exactly. That's the amount of thinking I want to have to do on these things, and just because like I don't care about it. I don't want to worry about that kind of thing. Like it's my job to understand what's happening under there, but I also don't want to have to tinker with it.
Yeah, and that's the investment in automation, right?
Yes.
Like it's weird because sometimes stuff that Linux people are talking about like doesn't apply to me anymore. So like I'll go to Reddit and people will be complaining. They're like, when is GNOME VRR going to be merged? And I was like, didn't Kyle automate this for us like 2 years ago?
Yeah.
I've had that thing. I've had that thing like the entire time,
Mhm.
And sometimes it was not good in the early days, but generally speaking, it was fine. I didn't have to worry about it. Only one person had to figure that out.
Yeah.
Right. And then that person puts it in a Docker file. And I do want to mention this is because it is a Docker file. That means all existing tools for containers now work for the operating system. Right. So if you want to set this up in your home lab, there's like 10 different registries that you can run, right, to like shove your image in, right? You can run gripe to see the security vulnerabilities, just like you do on a normal container. You can run dive, go in, you see all the layers and stuff. right? All of the build stuff works everywhere, right? So right now you could just git clone something from uBlue and type podman build dot or docker build dot, and you're gonna get a container spits out the other end, right? So we're able to just reuse a bunch of stuff that's already being used for servers, but now for my desktop. So I can use a tool like Cockpit, which is designed to manage servers, but now I use it to manage my fleet of desktops.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
Desktops,
they're all
laptops.
in
Yeah.
there,
yeah.
and I could go, and there's the web UI is in
Like
there.
Cockpit.
Right, and everything's on tail scale, so you're always. I was on a plane, connecting back. I don't have to have any open ports in my life anymore. Like,
Yes.
all this jank just goes away from your life.
Yeah. A lot of it's gone.
Yeah, and so for us, like usually for me, it's like these are all features that I am not giving up anymore. Right, so it's like, oh no, I have an app that doesn't work on Wayland anymore. I find a new app, I just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Right? And then I found it was like, you know what? The well-maintained apps have Wayland things, have already great Wayland support. Sure, Discord needs to be better, right? There's always going to be those outliers. And like, sure, right?
I wouldn't know anything about Discord at all.
Yeah, but we're also in that middle of that transition, right? So I'm like, look, man, if this is the features I'm going to get and my life is that much simpler, let me get rid of all the stuff that doesn't fit with this model, right? And then if I do have a workaround or a thing, someone sends you an old deb or whatever, I've got DistroBox.
Yeah, exactly.
Boom.
Yep.
And I'm done.
Yep.
Yeah, when I'm done, I throw it away. And
I think that's exactly how because I'm not a huge fan of AppImage because it's always really difficult to get them integrated.
Oh, those
into
are
the
awful.
system.
Yeah,
I know. So I think what I'm gonna do is just download the Cider RPM and install it into a container and then or in DistroBox and then just run it natively. Like,
is that the Apple? Is that the Apple thing?
Yeah.
yes,
Apple
Apple
Music
Music
thing?
for Linux. Well, for everything.
Yeah.
But for everything, right? Like because I have like I have to run Windows, I have to run Mac OS, and then I choose to run Linux. So to get something that works everywhere, that's Cider. And I want that for everything. I need that cross-platform ability for absolutely everything. And if I can get that on Linux with a base that I don't have to think about ever, then all the better. And Cider fits that build. They have builds for everything. It's fantastic.
They don't have Flatpaks yet. We should help them out.
Do they not?
They
have
they
have an old Flatpak. They're not the 2.0, the new one, the fancy one. Popey knows about this. I don't know if he's still listening or not, but Popey knows about the Flatpak because he uses the old one. He needs to get on the new one. He needs to spend some money. And
I used to work with Pope, and he's like, I've had enough of Castro talking.
5 minutes in, I'm out,
mate.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so I threw there some money so I could play around with the beta, and it's really good. I really enjoy it.
Does
And the
it only
family
support
uses
Apple
Apple
Music?
stuff. Yeah. The family uses
that's
Apple
fine.
stuff, so I'm stuck in the Apple ecosystem. So why not?
Sure.
Why not enjoy myself as much as I possibly can on every platform that I can?
Hey, at the end of the day, we're all geeks, right? Like, sometimes people are like, they treat it like some kind of war, right? And I'm like, look, at the end of the day, I'm a nerd. I master all tools.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I choose Linux is my preferred loadout.
Yeah.
Right? It's like I'm going in gotta fight the raid boss, right? You want your best gun. in the game,
Exactly.
and that's what I choose to roll with.
That is exactly the way that I look at it. I choose to use Linux, but I have to use everything else, and that's fine. I'm going to get good at everything, but I'm going to enjoy
bad
my
at
time on
everything.
Linux. Hey,
Well,
That's
got my share there.
Experience is experience, that regardless. Also, just quickly, I need to pour one out. I adore AppImage. I know it's dying. I know it's got its failings, but I'll pour
Depends
one
who
out
you
for
ask.
them.
it's not dying.
Hey, look,
it's fine.
Look, if it solves a use case for you, you don't have to listen to me either, right? Like, also remember, I'm trying to push this model to the extreme. So I'm like no compromises for my systems, right? But also we live in the real world is the same way.
Yep.
Right? Like like if you go in cloud, everyone's talking about microservices and like all this sexy stuff, and Kubernetes is amazing, right? What do? You go to a shop, it's all Java and PHP, right? Like
Of course.
so like there is the real world. However, like I look at it as Linux was struggling on client for so long, right? For like 30 years. I'll try anything at this point, right? And all the growth that we're getting isn't because of traditional Linux. It's because of Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, you know, I come from a way where it's like, well, why not start over, or at least have an alternative for people to opt in that's saying, you know what, I don't want to deal with like people arguing about packages all day long, right? And
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
like trying to, as I don't have time to argue about packages, right? I just get what I want and I move on with my life, you
Right.
know? And then
Mhm.
like there's harder things we need to solve, like getting through this Wayland transit. Like if you're an NVIDIA
Oh,
user
yeah.
right now, it just sucks right now, right?
It
And
has
we're
always
what?
sucked. But
Yeah,
yes,
but
Yeah,
right
but
now
this is
too.
really
It,
bad.
it,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
sucks
Yeah,
a
well,
lot.
it's
It's
been bad
consistently
20
sucked.
years, right? And it
Mhm.
always
Yeah.
get, you know,
I got rid
it's
of my
May.
NVIDIA stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I bought AMD card, right?
Same.
Yeah, we all did, I think.
Who
Yeah,
got
but
an
we can't
Intel
ask.
card? No? Oh,
Yeah,
right, no,
I have
no.
that too, though I'm still trying to figure out QSV. We'll get there.
Did you? Oh,
And who knows? Like they say May, it's May 1st today, right?
That's right.
Mhm.
So that
3
means
days. 3 more days.
yeah, it's either 3 more days or 30 more days. So like you know something's coming, and either way, right? Like MVK is getting better every kernel release, right?
Yeah.
And we've already been through when that happened with AMD, right? So I had a
Mhm.
5700 XT when it came out. That was just a crappy time to use
Yep.
Linux, right?
Yeah.
It,
And
it
then I
got
got
better,
a
but
6800.
yeah.
I got a 6800 XT, and this time it took them 1 kernel release instead
Right.
of 2.5, right? And then I got a 7900, and by the time I was able to afford and find the stupid thing, right, it just worked perfectly out of the
Worked.
box,
Right.
right? So like these things happen over time, right? So I think that this is the year. I think this is why I think this model works perfectly. It's like, look, is the reset, you know, boom, and this is just what the new Linux desktop looks like, and then hopefully we can get therapy and forget about the past 25 years.
It's about right.
Hey,
of-
if it works for you, is it a bad idea? That's the big thing, right?
yeah, and
It's
Debian's always going to be there, right? So
Mhm.
like,
oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's
you
not
know,
changing.
I have an
Always
Ubuntu
doing.
server that I will never touch, and it will just update until the hardware dies. Updates,
Mhm.
right? Until the hardware dies. Automatic updates, and it does all that business.
It does
Right.
it. Yeah.
Right. So I don't have the need to be like, oh no, I gotta get in there and change this thing, right? You just whatever works for you, works for you. But if I were to buy a new server today, like my next
Mhm.
NAS one is gonna be like awesome, right? Like
Right.
right. I'm gonna choose something else, right? And that's gonna be that thing that gets attached to that.
Mhm.
So that's how I see it. Anyway, I'm talking way too much. I'll let you all
No,
continue.
that's good.
That's it. Do you have
I
any
think
questions? Or anything?
No, man. All I heard was answers, and I mean,
Yeah.
this is
be
exactly
like-
what I've been waiting for a very long time. And
Yeah.
as long as everything works, and it seems like everything is working, then I'm gonna just keep using it. I mean, Aurora. So, yeah, that's me.
Yeah,
man.
that one was new. That one scared me because that was
Yeah.
someone's always like, I want Bluefin but with KDE, and I'm always of the opinion where it's like, if someone really wants it, someone will make it. So people would ask for it, and I was like, look, man, I got enough problems. I got enough dinosaurs as it is. And then someone finally made it, but they were struggling maintaining it, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we just integrated their work. It's actually built out of the Bluefin repository, right?
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, and then all they did, you pick different packages or whatever, and then we're like, it should come out just as reliable as the other one.
So far, so
Right?
good, man. I've been using it on my. I took out the entire drive, put in a whole new drive, and I've been running it for a week, and I haven't had anything. I haven't had anything blow up yet. I rebased from Fedora 39. I was on that for a good long while. I didn't actually update, and then I updated 2 days ago, and so I'm on Fedora 40 now, which is Plasma 6 and everything else.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
so far so good. I'm enjoying the hell
Yeah.
out of it. It's fantastic.
And then most of the complaints we're hearing is like about Plasma 6 and Wayland and all that stuff, which is what we want, right? We want your OS to be invisible, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I
Yeah.
want a KDE experience. Like, I don't want, the logo's cool, right? Like,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
I do
right.
like the logo.
Yeah, but I do not want to care about that part, right? Like for me, Bluefin is about the GNOME experience that I want.
Right.
I
Right.
want that to be
Right.
visible and stuff. And for framework, we want to highlight they're an OEM that supports Linux, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
what we're gonna do is we're enabling Bazite and Bluefin to have native framework support. So our page on the support for frameworks is going to be like, it's just install instructions. We're putting the kernel arguments in there automatically. The fingerprint reader is going to work. The
Nice.
GPU switcheroo VG8 thing. I don't.
That's for the 16, right? The bigger one.
Yeah, the 16 is going to have the thing, so you'll be able to game, and it'll run on the DGPU. But then when you're not running a game, it'll run on the iGPU.
Yeah.
When you fire up Olama, it'll use the right GPU for like your local AI stuff, and then we'll actually change the little logo menu. We'll have it'll have the framework little gear, right? And that's how you know that it detects a framework.
What a nice touch.
Nice.
Yeah, they should get that win. Like, we don't want to be there, right? Like, I want to be invisible, right? Which is weird because normally everyone's all about, but it's about the OS. It's about the OS. It's like, no, it's about when you listen to Mac people, right? They're about that whole entire experience, the hardware and the software together as a sum, right? But in Linux, we're like, the ThinkPad is this, and then my Linux is this, right? And that's why people hate Linux, right?
Right.
They want that vertical. They want that vertical integration, but we can't do that because we're not a multi-billion-dollar company, right? But a bunch of open source nerds in a company that supports Linux and puts their fingerprint reader stuff on LVFS, and they do all the right things, right? And a community can kind of do a pretty good job giving you that experience that gives you like an alternative to Mac.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because you're running on the metal.
Right. Yep. The big thing I'm concerned about is like, I have bought Macs before. I bought one about a year and a half ago, and I gave them a lot of money for that. Who do I give money to, and where should I send my money laser to make sure that the people that are doing the work that enable me to have an experience that I'm having right now, how do I make sure that while I know that there's no 100% guaranteed bulwark against burnout, how do I make sure that they know that plenty of people appreciate them?
Yeah.
Well, for the hardware, you buy a framework.
Yes, I've already done that. I've already done it. I've already done that, baby.
I'm downloading Paz right now, so it's 7 minutes away. Just FYI.
Okay.
Excellent. I hope we're not doing a live install.
No. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it.
And
There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
So I've already done
this entire time. I've been sitting here working on like a new desktop image for myself because I figured out how to build an ISO out of the HTPC image.
Yeah. Did you use the action? That thing needs to be documented a little bit better. It's automated.
So I'm not using the action on GitHub. I'm actually just running the Podman build command.
Cron it up. That's all you really need to do.
Yeah, I know.
Cron it up and SCP it somewhere, and then you have an automated ISO build. Done.
I know.
Yeah, baller.
I'm gonna need to do that.
It works pretty well. It took me like my biggest frustration was I got it to build the ISO, but the way that I wanted to play this image is that you have two user accounts, one for that runs Kodi in the graphical session because that's what really matters, and then an administrator account. And I don't want to have to just manually create those users. So I figured out that I can set up a systemd unifile that automatically runs the service just one time on the system's initial first boot up post install to create user accounts. But SE Linux is enabled, and SE Linux said no. So I'm still working on figuring out how I can keep SE Linux turned on without turning it off.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at right now.
I think you can add new users with Kickstart, right? Can you add?
You should be able to.
You just.
I haven't even seen any mention of Kickstart yet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's how we do the ISOs. We Kickstart. Dude, Anaconda.
Well, sir, just to let you know, there is no documentation for what I'm currently going through right now.
I know.
That's why I love Anaconda, man.
Yeah. You're welcome. I'm your living proof that there needs to be some documentation right now.
Oh, don't look at me. Ask the $40 billion company that makes this stuff.
I've always been Team Anaconda, even though everybody has complained about every single aspect of it, man. It's been
after
Kickstart files work.
I used to hate Anaconda. And then I discovered that Fedora has this image called everything. And then I realized just how wonderful Anaconda can actually be.
It was. You used Anaconda the way they expected you to use it. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, yeah, it's
like,
pretty good.
all these extra buttons make sense now because when you install the everything image, it literally gives you lists of everything. Now
that's right.
Yeah. Now, of course, when you tell it to
matters.
And when you tell it to install like some packages though in the everything installer, it tends to install other packages. So like there's some bugs that need to be worked out. But when I filed the bugs, Fedora said, "Oh, we don't care about this image. We just make it because people like it."
Yeah. The new front end for Anaconda is actually pretty baller because it's CSS and web.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is, so we have a flag to turn it on. There's like 1 or 2 bugs that they're going to fix to make it interesting. Is like the installer, first of all, looks modern. So we'll go from like the worst installer to the one that looks pretty good.
It's got a cockpit.
You'll be able to theme it. So like, can you imagine your ACPC image will have like the Cody artwork and stuff.
Dude, that's cool.
Yeah. Because we're gonna plan on like, can you imagine, right? Like for your device, like if you download the ASUS image, right? It has like the ROG.
Mm-hmm.
You know, download the Linux user space
right? I put dinosaurs in my installer. You know, like we're doing all that stuff. So like, however, they are doing a lot of work around new installation things. Like Podman Desktop is gonna grow a feature that you'll be able to import a container file that will spit out an ISO for you.
Ooh,
cool.
Sweet.
So. And the nice thing about that is that runs on Mac and on Windows. So you can go over to your friend's house. You can go over to your friend's house, right? And be like, okay, cool. You want, you want Liege's desktop or whatever and then your address or whatever. And then in a little GUI, pick all the packages that you want. You click, it makes an ISO. You burn it on the stick. You blast their computer and then you give it to them. And then
that's kind of awesome.
It's awesome because it's the same tools that you use.
It's much more elegant than my current NixOS setup for my grandma.
Yeah,
definitely.
NixOS for your grandma.
Okay,
I feel like that's a very
so
slim.
That's a meme.
You want me to explain this for you, Leo?
Yeah,
because it's actually rather insane.
I need it. I need.
So my grandma,
because my grandma needs this.
Okay, she literally only uses her computer for emails. So so the way that I've historically ran this, because at the time I didn't discover Gentoo yet. But she actually ran Arch Linux, which was just booting fire. Yes.
Wow.
She was actually running Arch Linux with minimum viable Xorg and Firefox. Because if you have Xorg installed,
that's all you need, right?
Yeah, that's all you need for Firefox. So we had Firefox loading into Kiosk UI, going straight to Gmail, logging into her Gmail account.
Wow.
I mean, grandma's pretty awesome.
Grandma's got game.
And her computer ran automatic updates every 2 weeks, I believe.
Did she run into the grub issue that Arch had a while ago?
That's why she's on NixOS now.
There we go. All right. Just nuke and paste, baby.
Because she ran into the grub issue, I had to actually go to grandma's house, which is a 3.5 hour drive away, to fix her computer. And it's like, you know what? There's probably a better, more elegant solution to this. So we converted the system from Arch Linux to NixOS. So now NixOS has a system D timer for every 2 hours. We're going to pull the NixOS configuration.
Okay.
And we're going to rebuild the system.
Okay. And
hey, can you imagine a grandma showing up to your local lug meeting and be like, "Hey, my grandson hooked me up with Nix. Could somebody help me out?"
Yeah. That would be cool.
That's right.
My mom ran Ubuntu Mate for many years. So.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah, it does.
As long as it works.
My ISP uses FreeBSD.
But that makes sense because the stack on the network stack on BSD is fantastic.
I mean, they're like every system in there is running FreeBSD of some sort. Yep. Their web server runs OpenBSD just to be fancy.
Blowfish.
Yeah.
I love it.
And then they deploy pfSense routers to every customer. Yeah.
Wow, that's hardcore.
Yeah. Well, gigabit. That's why it's just like it turns out that hardware is expensive, so they figure that it's easier for them to buy all these Protect Tele devices that they can get for about $120 a piece on bulk order, and just put pfSense on all of them.
Just imagine what the order would look like when you had Cisco.
Oh yeah,
all the way down.
They were all Cisco.
Add a couple
Uh,
of zeros to that
yeah.
number, and you get kind of
Yeah, no
close.
kidding.
You get kind of close.
Yeah, they had all Cisco equipment, and it was all set to reach end of service next year,
Right.
and they
You
needed
gotta
to make a change.
play the whole game again.
Yeah, so they scrapped all the Cisco gear. They went as far down the DIY rabbit hole as you can reasonably go
Yeah.
with a small scale ISP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And outside of that, I believe, if I remember right, all the switches are MikroTik.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's an ISP around
Yeah.
here that runs a whole lot of MikroTik, so I imagine there was a few machines.
Yeah, and all the firewalls, the consumer firewalls are pfSense. The network firewalls are proper FreeBSD.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I gotta figure out how to get rid of
pretty
my
cool.
AT&T box and then swap like a TP-Link.
I have one of
something
those
or
things. I
another.
hate it.
Dude,
Just
is it
turn
the
off
SFP thing?
connector.
They just they smack the SFP into the back of that weird little one box with the one light.
It's the one where you have to go and you turn off. Will you turn on bridge mode? Turn off bridge mode. I'm not a networking. The thing.
You could either
it's
do
just
bridge
awful.
or put your other router in DMZ and just
Yeah.
have the IP.
Mhm.
That
Yeah,
sounds
like I set this up a while ago. It's like to get my Unify gateway to actually do my networking and not
Yeah.
that thing.
Yeah, that's
Right.
that was a pain in the
both of
ass.
those things sound terrible though.
Boo,
Yeah.
Unify.
Yeah.
Make your own router.
So
Well,
Yeah.
right, but I
But
mean,
it works.
AT&T is going to require you to do a whole lot of weird stuff, and then it sounds like
Yeah.
the bridge mode and the DMZ mode are just stopgaps for just actually supporting what they need.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you're an ISP and you're selling a consumer brand internet service, all you realistically want it to do in the world is for the customer to just plug it in and it turns on and works.
Well, they don't even want that. They want to give you the box pre-configured, kind of like what we're talking about this entire time, and then not
Yeah.
have to think about it at all, and then just
Yeah, except
plug it
they
in and
suck
it goes.
at it though.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Right.
Well,
that's the
right,
difference, yeah.
exactly, and
They're going to deliver your wireless and all of that stuff,
Like,
so you don't
I've-
even have to think about it.
yeah, I've got a lot of services that I'm running inside of here that I need to not have to double NAT to be able
Yeah,
to.
what a terrible idea. Read all of that.
I've gotten to the point though now where
IPv6.
I don't even forward anything anymore. I'm like George. I just use Tailscale for everything, and I
yeah.
don't forward a thing anymore. Not
Yeah.
a thing.
Well, I was on that train before Tailscale got big. I was like, absolutely not. I'm not exposing any kind of ports or anything like that to the internet.
Right.
Like, no, I'm gonna do a WireGuard. I'm gonna manually WireGuard
kinda
network
works.
myself
Yeah.
into the network, and then I'll have access to everything. But Tailscale came
Yeah.
along, and now I feel dumb. So
It's like how much time in my life did I waste doing
Yeah.
things at Tailscale?
Yeah. tens of hours.
So
Yeah.
I use
'Cause I hate
Tailscale, but
Mhm.
only for like syncing photos from my phone back to my server. Outside
Yeah,
of that,
I don't have
but
everything.
anywhere in the world. That's the point.
outside of that, I follow a very strict no remote access policy on my servers.
Yeah,
Because I
yeah.
just
Right.
don't want that.
Right.
Yeah, like the primary I don't know if you guys have looked at my channel, but I posted some like home lab videos.
Mhm.
That server that I'm using in those videos is the only one of my servers that actually touches the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only had one.
directly.
I only
Yeah.
had one, and that was on purpose. Like the least amount of stuff touching the internet, the better. That's
Yeah.
kind of the
Yeah,
point.
and I don't even have everything like Tailscale connected to everything. Yeah, just a couple things. My photos is one of them because I want my phone to be able to, back up photos someplace.
Yeah,
safe.
I think when I jump into Tailscale, it's going to just be like having a Tailscale endpoint here in the network so that I can touch everything and then add things to that instead of having to worry about like what do I expose, what do I not expose. Like I just wanted this one in, that one in, and then that's it. That's all I want.
Reverse
Yep.
proxy.
Yeah,
that
but
to be a
Yeah,
breach.
Don't even have to do reverse proxy. Just use if you're using Tailscale, just use their Magic DNS.
Yeah,
I love
that's
that
kind of
thing,
what I
man.
was thinking.
that
Yeah.
I
works
love
great.
Magic DNS. I
Just
do
go to
not care, like-
http://books, and now you have your book safe pulled up.
Yep.
Or
You got you. Yep.
yeah,
Oh yeah, that's another one. My audio bookshelf thing. Yeah,
So if
Wait,
you're doing that
what?
through
What?
Tailscale,
audio bookshelf.
What is this? What?
Oh, you can put your audiobooks in there, and no, you don't have to use
And
Audible.
podcast.
Okay, no,
Yeah,
hold on.
podcasts too.
Hold
Yeah.
on. Also more. What?
Audio bookshelf. Yeah, go. We'll.
You
Yeah,
Hold
I'll
on.
send
All
you a
right,
link.
hang on.
you didn't know
Audio.
that there were self-hosted audiobook management libraries?
I figured there was, but I just threw them all in
Audio
Plex.
bookshelf.
What? What
Oh,
is this?
You need
Well,
to.
yeah, I gave up on Plex. Plex annoyed me because it stopped doing
Okay,
my
I would have
my
too,
podcast stuff. Yeah.
but nobody told me. Why didn't you tell me this?
We're
Oh,
telling
I
you
thought I
now.
did. On my bad. Now you
Dan,
know.
How dare you? But okay.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Nobody
Docker
told me
Windows
about mobile,
install.
friend.
Now I'm on a Windows page. Help me. What?
Like everyone bought something on discount, and
It's
Leo
just
just
Docker.
found out. He's like, "What? Hang on, no, wait,
Yeah.
when? How? Tell me when."
Absolutely, absolutely not. I keep going to the same place. Hold on.
Oh, this looks pretty nice. I like this.
Yeah.
It is pretty slick. It's pretty
Oh,
slick.
it's awesome.
Oh, here we go. Linux, Debian, Ubuntu. All right. Hey, remember we were talking at the very top of this. I have a Raspberry Pi that's not doing anything. Well, hang on.
There you go.
So we can Docker this. Docker
can.
compose.
They got
pull.
Docker. They got a Debian install. They got Docker. They got both. You're good.
Okay. So wait. So hold on. So all I gotta do. Look at this. Oh, look at this. So I just need a Raspberry Pi with a bunch of storage. Drop all my audio books on there. Run the Docker files through Docker Compose, and then
Do they have ARM builds?
I would hope. Hold
I
on.
see ghcr.io, and I'm not sure about the.
Not sure about ARM. I'm not running it on ARM, so I
Oh
don't know.
no, I'm gonna have to spin up a VM. I have limited RAM.
You got more
Hold
now.
on, let me take the. man,
Well,
keep
you
it-
know, you could free up some of your RAM by using a operating system that is compiled and is
Oh,
built
yes.
specifically for your hardware to reduce the memory footprint.
ADV Player. I don't know if they're cool, but they got 1 million downloads and 120 stars. Build it for ARM64, so I think we might be okay.
Man,
I think we're good.
holy smokes! You see the polls on their images for audio.
It's a
bookshelf?
lot.
Yeah, it's 100. There's a million.
763,000.
The main reason why is because Audio Bookshelf is like the most popular option for like the home lab crowd.
Okay,
I think so. Yeah.
I dig it.
Right. Okay, so
Yeah.
this is definitely legitimately purchased audiobooks from places.
That's the idea.
Right. Of course.
Do
Of course, Dan.
There's places to get those. Some.
Audible.com.
Well,
Yeah,
that
you
might
can
not
go to
be.
Audible and
Legitimately.
you can just grab it.
Well, you can't get them out of.
Audible is there's a dance for that.
Yeah, you
There's a
can't.
dance.
No. You can't legitimately pull them out of Audible.com. So you just go to audible.com. This is not a commercial for Audible.com.
I mean,
Don't go there.
are you sure? Because what I do is I just take screenshots
Mm-mm.
and then I just
That's
generate my
that's
own
not.
ebook.
Yeah,
I don't think you
Yeah.
can do that. That's
I
not
don't
legal.
think these images are ARM.
Are they not?
No, like if you do a Scopio inspect and then put in that ghcr.io.
I think Linux Server IO has an image that is ARM.
Yeah.
From
Speaking of,
ADV?
that's an organization I pay money to once a year. I
Right.
give them
They do
$100.
so much work.
Linux
on
server.io.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Not
My- I
CNCF.
basically, all
You
the
give your
Linux
work
IO
to them.
stuff, they always work. Brilliant every single time.
Yeah, I've been using these containers for
Yeah.
I don't know.
And the documentation's
2016?
great. The documentation, I've learned so much from their documentation, even versus trying to do my own sort of web searching, especially when it came to Docker. Leo knows this. I got some real confusing moments working, like learning how to get my
Man,
head
but you
around
dove
Docker.
straight in, and you just kind of took that one straight to the face. I appreciate that, though. That's some real, like, if you're gonna learn it, you're gonna learn it, right? Like you're just gonna all the pain straight to the face.
It's just
That's
when
the
I
way to do
read
it.
words and I'm like, I know it's English, but I have no idea what you are
Right.
fucking saying.
Right,
Like,
right. But that's the best way to digest anything is to just not understand anything and then have to climb your way
Yeah.
through it.
Yeah, climb
And then you're
through it.
like, oh, yeah, okay, I know these words. That makes
Do
sense.
they not have an
Yep.
audio bookshelf container? I found that hard to believe.
And while you guys are looking at that, Dan, just quickly, because I know you were mentioning before about your photos, and you're doing that through Tailscale. But how is that? So because I use SyncThing to do my photo backups.
That could work too. I use Image.
What do you use? Image.
Image. Yeah, I guess Image. Yeah, that's what I guess that's how you say it.
I would use Image if it didn't break about every other update.
Dan, does it
It's
break every
actually
other
been
update?
there's a lot of breakage, but it's been a
Oh.
lot better. You got to be prepared to follow the change log.
Oh.
But is this
I
that
don't.
photo management tool that was mentioned a while ago?
Maybe
I think a few episodes back you might have mentioned it, or maybe it was a live stream. So I'm trying to use Lychee on Unraid, but
okay.
I'm
Yep.
not having much luck with Lychee, to be honest. So I'm just
I
making
have
sure
not
it's all
tried
safe
that.
and
Yeah.
whatnot.
It just
Yeah,
gave me
yeah.
flashbacks to eating that fruit, and it's such a weird thing, man. Those
Oh,
fruits are
Lychee's
weird.
amazing. Oh, it's fantastic.
It's
I
like
mean,
it's sweet and bitter and weird, and it's like an
yeah.
eyeball, and I don't know if I like it. Like the
It's
texture is a weird thing. It's just a
it's
weird texture thing.
so true.
It's just it's weird. It's good,
Yeah.
but it's weird.
Yeah. With ice cream, with a really nice ice cream, and
Okay, so you're not
yeah, it's
actually
great.
eating the eyeball thing. You're like the
No,
flavor of it.
I eat
That's
eyeballs. Yeah, no, I'm not afraid to, that's fine. But oh, I
what?
mean lychee. Yeah, lychee. But with ice cream,
Okay,
it's way better.
got it.
Yeah.
So there you go. I dropped a link to Image in
Oh, thank you.
Discord. Yeah. That's what I'm running. It's a Docker. I'm running it in Docker.
All right. So should I use ADV Player's audiobook shelf on ARM64? Should I do
Oh
that?
my God, how do
Is
they
that bad?
spell this thing? Sorry, just English.
Is that bad? Wait, what?
Image.
Image. Yeah. It's very English.
Is this called Image?
IMMICH, I believe.
Yeah,
it is.
Image.
Oh,
Image.
That's not English,
Image,
Dan.
yes.
No, I know.
That's like sandwich. Like,
Yes. Yes.
come on.
Yes. You got it now.
That's not even. That's not even.
Oh,
Okay. Hey, In-N-Out Burger, man. I love me some In-N-Out. It's so good.
Man, we don't have them here in Michigan. Every time I go to California, I'm like, give me some In-N-Out.
Dude, I have to drive 2.5 hours east to be able to get one. And so anytime I go to Dallas Fort Worth or whatever, then I'm gonna get one.
Yeah.
But I'm not anywhere near one, and it's not cool. Sometimes I just want a cheap burger, and they're the best cheap burger.
how much is a burger, just roughly for the guys in the room, just out of curiosity?
In-N-Out, if you just get the burger, no
Yeah.
fixins, no extras, no nothing, just the burger with
But a
onions.
decent burger, not like just ham and bun, like ham, cheese.
No. Yeah,
and
there's
sauce.
cheese,
No,
there's
something.
onions, there's lettuce, there's
Yeah.
sauce, there's whatever. Like $5.
$5
Really?
American.
$5, $6
$10.
That's not bad.
good.
That's
just
pretty
just
cheap.
for the burger. You get the
Yeah, the
fries.
double animal style, man.
Yeah, right. There you go. You add $1 for that, and then you add the fries, and you add the drink, and you add everything. It's like $9. But
That's still not
it's
bad.
right. And then I saw a thing about McDonald's today where they were like, "Oh, our margins are terrible. We're doing bad. We actually posted a loss this year." And it's like, dude, your Big Mac is $12.
It is
Exactly.
expensive.
Yeah.
It's-
That's
Yeah.
nuts.
Absolutely shameful. You are the company that makes cheap burgers for cheap people. Stop
Yeah.
not doing that. Just
They
do the
stopped doing
thing.
cheap stuff years ago. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
Like, 'cause
just
when
do
you go to
the-
Macca's,
just do
it's
the thing.
$30.
Do the
It's
McDonald's
$30
thing.
to go eat at Macca's.
When I can go get a double cheeseburger and a McChicken for $2 again, man,
Man, you're
you're
making
back
me
in your
hungry
golden
now.
years.
I'm ordering
Yeah.
dinner right now.
Yeah.
Five Guys.
Yeah. Oh no, they're the
Okay.
other opposite end of that, where it's like $16 for a meal.
They are pricey. They are pricey.
And
Add
you're like,
everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're like, it's a pretty good burger, but also it was $16, and I feel bad.
Honestly, the fries are the better part at Five Guys.
Oh,
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But they don't just give you fries. They give you fries, and then there's like
And then
fries
they
in your
fill up
bag,
the bag.
and then there's
Yeah.
fries in the burger, and then there's fries in your pockets,
Like,
and you're like,
hold
where
out
did this
your
even
hand.
come
OCD
from?
Yeah.
part of me does not like that part, right? Like,
Yeah.
It's like, man,
Yeah.
I need a. Do y'all have a
Yeah.
Shake Shack? You guys have?
Oh,
that?
that
yeah,
place
I've
is
been there.
terrible
Yeah.
too.
No.
So it's like in
No.
between In-N-Out and Five Guys. They're slightly less expensive than Five Guys, but they'll also kill you. So, you know, I mean, you got to take what you get, right? Like it's
Definitely
fantastic.
greasy.
Yeah.
Definitely
Bacon shake.
greasy.
Mm.
So for us in Australia, the takeaway food is more expensive than most sort of restaurants you'll eat at. So like there are certain places that are just burger places. All they'll do is burger, milkshake, and chips. That's it. That's all they do.
Mhm.
You want to get something else, go somewhere else. And so
Yeah.
1090 is one of my favorites. And like they always put stuff on Instagram. So they always make these like awesome fried chicken, double patty, triple cheese, just monstrosities on brioche buns, all that kind of thing.
I
on
paid
the
$20
flat
for
grill.
that though. That's
I would.
Yeah,
stupid.
yeah. Well, see, that one's like $16 Australian, which
It's not
is what,
bad.
$8, $9
That's really good.
US. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's
but
a
at Macca's,
steal. Where is that? Can I get that in Texas?
yeah,
Because
there's some sponsor in Richmond. Not a problem. I'll just send that over to you. I don't know how it'll be when it gets there.
it'll be
yeah.
fine. I'll reheat it. It's fine.
We need transporters. We need transporters.
Me too.
I started watching Picard last night. Actually, so I'm looking.
You're
looking
way
forward
behind.
to that.
Yeah, I was
It's
gonna
good.
say you're behind, right?
Yeah, I'm catching up. I just finished Strange New Worlds. I finished
Oh,
Lower
that's
Decks.
a good show.
Amazing. I can't wait for the new Lower Decks. I can't believe I didn't know it existed
Lower Decks.
until 3 months ago.
Yeah.
My God. But yeah, for Macca's, the Big Mac here is $12 Australian, which is $6 US.
Mhm.
$6,
Yeah.
$6-7 US.
The Big Mac?
But for us, it used to be like $8.
Wait, the Big Mac
Like,
from McDonald's?
yeah.
Well, you guys are getting a steal. Hold on. It's
Yeah, you're
dude,
getting it
there's-
cheaper than we do.
Dude, there's
Hey,
no
what do you
joke.
call your
Like,
quarter pounders?
Hey.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
no,
Quarter
wait, hold
pounder?
on. That's a totally different burger. That's a different experience.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
the
I
Big
was
Mac,
saying if they're Australian,
Yeah.
like they don't call it
We
a
still
quarter
do
pounder.
quarter
What do you-
pounders.
they
We
call
still
it a
do quarter pounders.
Oh, they do.
Royale with cheese.
That's I was wondering if they had
Yeah.
like koala or whatever.
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
Koala pounder?
It's a kiwi. It's a
A
kiwi
koala
on a
burger.
bun, right? Because they
Yes,
have
it's
this
fun.
this rivalry with the
Oh, yeah, the
New
Kiwis.
Zed down there.
Yeah, for sure. Well, because they don't know how to say thongs, they say jandals, and like that's just a ridiculous word.
Okay,
to call-
that's worse than the other. Okay, we call them sandals. You call them thongs, but they call them what?
Jandals.
Jandals?
Jandals.
Jandals with
Okay.
the J.
They're just
All right.
they're just trolling us at this point.
No, they do. They've always called it that. And like an S. So
Huh.
for us, an esky, right? They call a chili bin. So an esky is the insulated box where you'd put like cold drinks and stuff with the lid, the plastic square tub.
You
An
call that an
igloo.
esky?
Yeah.
An esky.
Oh.
A cooler?
Yeah, we call that
It's-
cooler.
it's- Yes, it's a cooler.
Yeah. Right. So we call it an esky, and they call it a chili bin because it
All
keeps
right.
things chilly.
Chili.
That is a great name.
That's
Yeah,
a better name,
hold on,
honestly.
hold
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Now,
Like, I could see
I'm-
myself writing that on the side of my.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
That's-
taking issue with the esky because that's got to come from Eskimo, right? Like from
Eskimo.
right.
Probably
Oh, that makes
bin.
sense.
But like,
And,
because
I
That's a
like-
stretch.
Wait a minute. Wait
chili
a
bin
minute.
is good. I like that
You're in the
because
southern hemisphere. Why would you name something after Eskimos? Or
yes,
that's like
But-
naming
Oh, we
something
just-
after polar bears.
I feel
Right?
like
it's universal. It's universal. We say.
I feel like chili bin, there's a 50-50 chance I'm going to pull a chili dog out of there and I'm going to have a good time. So,
Yeah. But
never
the thing
know.
is, you got to say it right too, because it's Kiwi. It's a chili bun. So it's
Oh,
it's
Chili
got
bun.
that.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
My wife
I could do
is
that.
just in
I
love
can work with that.
with
Yeah.
anybody from down there. It's just,
Mhm.
yeah.
So how often do y'all hang out? This has like been really awesome for me. I gotta go
We-
here in a minute because
we've actually-
Yeah,
No,
we're,
that's all
we're,
good.
we're about to close up. But yeah,
oh,
this
okay, all right,
happens.
good.
This usually happens either on a Tuesday or a Wednesday,
right.
every other week. So in a couple of weeks, we'll do it again.
All right, ping,
We-
if you
we've
got
mi-
questions, ping me.
Yeah,
Sure.
I
We've
will
actually missed a
always.
few of these as in recent. Yeah, just
Life happens. Life.
Right. Yeah.
And I nobody noticed. I'm glad nobody said anything. But this half of my face was numb because I just came from the dentist. So hey, I appreciate that. It was
No,
probably
good,
because
man.
my webcam was blurry half the time. But you know what? It doesn't matter.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
The dentist was like, "Look, I could tell you're stressed out from this immutable thing. You need to,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
need to figure that out in your life, so you're not so. See, hopefully by your next stream, you're gonna be nice and chill. You're just gonna be like,
Yeah.
I
No,
gotta figure
no.
it out.
This
think so.
this is pretty much me,
I'm just gonna
regardless
use-
of immutability or
"Just gonna
not.
use Fedora.
Yeah.
Use Fedora, and it's
But
gonna
it-
be
The dentist
be
was whispering
smooth.
atomic in his ear. Atomic.
No.
And
Oh
listen.
my God, that tool was so loud. I was like, "Stop it, please!" And it was like, "No."
You got to find the ones that use the water pick, man, because that metal.
Yeah,
on
that does
metal,
work good.
I
Yeah.
do not like that. Ugh.
Mhm.
Ooh, it hurt.
You have my
hopefully,
empathy.
hopefully I don't have to
Struggling
do
with
that ever
atomic.
again. Ever.
Dentists on the same day. You know, you've earned a break.
Okay,
Mhm.
I appreciate that. I'll take that, and I'm gonna hang on to that.
Go get
Thanks for
some
having
light
me on,
tea and
though.
ice
This is
cream,
fun.
man. Treat yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
it's
deserve
been fun.
All
Yeah,
right,
I
couple
just wanna-
more weeks. I'll schedule it up. I mean, I don't know if you just accidentally happen to hang out in the Discord for a little bit or whatever. You'll see it in the calendar.
Yeah, I'm hanging out there now. So.
Cool. I'll put it back up there, and then in a couple of weeks we'll do this again.
Oh, I want to answer one thing that you said. You said how you could support people and all that stuff.
Yes, that's
When an
super
app
important.
developer puts their stuff on FlatHub, pay them.
Yes.
Like I have a budget. I have $30 a month.
Yeah, buddy.
$2 for a GNOME extension you like on GitHub sponsors, whatever thing needs to get. If you want better Linux applications, we need to get these developers paid.
That
right?
is
If it's
right.
$2-3 a month. Gotta do it.
Yes.
So-
If you've got a budget, if you have any amount of money that you can spare to support the developers that make the software that you love, make sure that you are sending them money, because I know you can't send them like emotional support, but you can send them
their
a couple
GitHub
dollars.
repo. Start their GitHub repo.
Yes.
You know?
Anything you can do to give these guys a thumbs up. It doesn't matter. If it's $1, if it's a star, if it's a whatever, make sure that you do it, because it helps. It helps. You might not think
And it makes them feel good.
Yes. If nothing else, it buys them a coffee. Make sure to do it.
Caffeine.
Yes. Oh, yeah, man. I live on caffeine. That's how I got through my day today. And then I finished
I
it.
might actually get another one for the Bazite install, actually. So the next time you see me on Discord, hopefully I'll be in Bazite and be playing around in there in the next.
All right.
Let's hope so. Actually, we're gonna play Helldivers tonight. At one point, someone was like, "I don't like the Universal Blue Discord because all they do is play video games," and I'm like, "Well, our computers work, so we don't really have anything."
Exactly right. Like, you don't have to think about tinkering with your thing. You just do the thing. That's the whole entire point.
Releasing F40 it really took some effort though. So now we're in chill. We call this chill ops, right? Where it's
Yep.
Yes.
After the release, it's like
While I'm waiting on this thing to build, I'm just sitting here playing World of Warcraft.
Hey, all right,
Wow.
man. I'm about to get into it because I hear that right now World of Warcraft is probably the best that it's ever been in a long time. Like, the people that hated it are gone, and the people that are just enjoying themselves are there. And I feel like that right now. That's what's happening with Linux, with this thing where we have the system underneath that you don't have to think about. It's just
if you're like a WoW Classic player, I'm not talking about like Season of Discovery or like Vanilla Classic, but like the Wrath of the Lich King thing. It's a little buggy right now because they kind of just dropped it on you. So it's a little buggy.
Okay.
But like the mainstream game, which is like the Dragonflight thing, it's all right.
Okay.
I'm not a fan, but it's all right.
So my thing though is that, like, early on, I mean, because I'm from vanilla. I played from it was about 10 months after launch. That's when I got in.
Yeah.
I've been playing since then, and it hadn't been until the end of Shadowlands that I stopped my subscription. Like, dude, I don't know how much money I gave them, but it was like an intense amount of money.
I think you would enjoy Season of Discovery.
Right. Because I'm a classic player, man. Like, I died to the stupid pigs in the middle of like the Barrens, man. Like, who does that? Nobody else but me. But so I would enjoy that kind of thing. But also I think the base game right now sounds like it might actually bring me back in. And with Bazite and everything else that just works now with Proton and all of that kind of good stuff, I think WoW's in a really, really good state on the Linux desktop as well. The one thing, because my daughter plays Fortnite a little bit, and now it wasn't ranked, but I will say we won 3 in a row doing duos. Man, I've got the screenshots to prove it. So, I know I was fighting 8-year-old children, but I still won 3 in a row. And that, I'm going to wear that as a badge of honor until the day that I die. Because I did that stupid
Guild Wars
emote dance. I haven't, I used to play Guild Wars. That was years and years ago. I still have an account, though.
Amazing compared to World of Warcraft, in my opinion. That was the thing that I never got into WoW for. My wife was all into it. She stole my gaming PC that I had built 3 months earlier.
To play Guild Wars?
Pretty much took it over. Yeah, well, she played WoW first.
Okay.
And then after about a year's subscription, she moved over to Guild Wars 2, because Guild Wars 2 had just come out.
Right.
So it was way back then.
It's interesting because like the biggest difference between like World of Warcraft and Guild Wars is that World of Warcraft is a vertically scaling game. Which means that basically the game World of Warcraft is all about that end game, right? But Guild Wars, when you reach like the level cap, it goes horizontally, as in like all the content that you can do at the max level is relevant at all the times. And for like a more casual player, Guild Wars is probably actually a better game.
I'm sorry, what?
My whole probably the better game. Now, the only reason why I still mess around with World of Warcraft is because I love the lore behind the Warcraft franchise.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that compares to Warcraft lore in my eyes is Warhammer.
Oh.
And nothing compares to Warhammer.
Yeah, but Warhammer doesn't have a good MMO, so I mean,
that's true.
Well, hold on.
They were fun. They were fun, but they did have one, and I played it, and it was amazing, and then it died a very quick death.
Hold on, wait. Remember the Choppa class? Do you remember that? All right, there were orcs, and there was a Choppa class, and there was this whole thing where you could just go Choppa, 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 and like they were just melee dudes with axes, and they would just that was the thing. Like, you think I'm being weird? It's not, but they really would just Choppa, Choppa. I know, like I can't not be weird about it because that's exactly what they did, and
that is what they do.
That's what they did. I love Warhammer. I absolutely love Warhammer. And every time I look at Team Linux's shirt, that's a Star Wars thing, right? Is that a Star Wars thing? Yeah. But
Empire.
Yes.
Yep.
But I see the Horde. Hold on. For the Horde Warcraft, just in case anybody doesn't know what that looks like. That's this, right? Like that. I see that on his shirt.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not. I know it's not. I saw that it wasn't, and
it's close
multiple times. But I'll glance over there, and I'm like, the whole no.
Hang on a second here, Leo. Hang on a second.
Okay.
Let me log out of this blonde paladin that I have here. And then
this is what it actually is.
Let me log into my blood elf.
That's closer.
And
you gonna show you
let's see here.
You about to log in?
No.
You about to get me banned off Twitch?
No. I had to log out of my Alliance character to log into a Horde character. And the only Horde character I have...
You mean the correct character, yes.
The only Horde character that I have is a level 14
and it's
paladin
the best character you have.
It is a Blood Elf Paladin. His name is Twinkle Smite.
Yeah. Exactly. Holy Strike. No, what is it? The thing that heals and it also damages. I haven't played in months, so I'm.
There's like 1,000 of those effects.
Holy Shock! It's Holy Shock is what that is.
Yeah.
That's right. The last time, actually, the very last time that I played after I ended my subscription, but I still had a few days left, was as a Holy Paladin to heal people in dungeons. And
all you did was just Holy Shock. Just
basically,
Holy Shock.
No, but okay, Paladins got way more complex toward the time when I stopped.
Paladin's always been the best character to pick. Yeah, exactly right.
I think so, but also I started in Horde when Horde did not have Paladins. All we had was Shamans, and Paladins were an ally-only thing, and I reveled in Alterac Valley, making sure that all Paladins were no more. That was the thing.
To be fair, Paladins in Classic kind of suck.
That's what I thought.
Hearing that more than once,
as a warrior, making sure they were no more. Yes, it was very important to me.
Did any of you play Final Fantasy 11?
Yeah. Wait. That's the
MMO.
Okay. Yes.
Original MMO.
Yes. I never got to endgame, but yes.
Okay.
I remember playing it and quitting it because I hated the control scheme.
No.
It's an acquired taste. It's very
slower.
But
but
that's so slow.
Yeah, but
I like it.
That's exactly. Right. It's like it's all of the action and everything, but what you have to pay attention to is also, not standing in the big circle, but also like your rotation is very predictable and you know exactly what's going to go on with that so that you can focus more on watching the cool stuff on the screen instead of watching the floor for circles.
Yeah.
I was a white mage, so I was looking at everybody's health.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you weren't watching anything other than on the left-hand side of the screen where everybody's green bars were not green?
Not green anymore, yeah.
You were like, oh, God. Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's how healing in WoW is, too, though. Like, in raids or whatever, there's 25 or 24 other people and their boxes, and whenever you see black on the boxes, it's like you're slacking, dude. Get over. What are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah.
Go help someone. On the topic of games, if anyone's interested, my wife got Sandlands, which is the last game from the creator of like Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Quest.
Stop.
I forgot his name.
You're gonna make me cry. Don't do that.
Yeah, well, so the game itself is amazing. I gotta say, my daughter's right into it as well, so she's gonna start her own account. It's on the PS5 that they're playing it.
Let me.
It's like Borderlands meets Dragon Ball meets some sort of a tank game. The story is like really in depth, as it would be from these kind of franchises, these kind of things. But the graphics is actually really impressive because it chops and changes on you. Like you got the cinematics at time that are super smooth. Then your in-game play where like it's almost like your active characters are animated, but the background is kind of it's
Nice.
environmental, so it's got like a different shade to it or a different kind of glimmer. So it separates the two. You know, if you've ever seen like a cartoon or an animation in a glass box where you've got the foreground and the background,
Yeah.
and there's that slight 3D-ness to it, that's
Yep.
what it kind of...
Okay.
Look,
but
Yeah,
you're
it's like
just-
the two move independently kind of thing.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
It's like old 1950s Looney Tunes where you knew
the
that
scroll,
some action was
kinda.
going to
Yeah,
happen on
yeah,
something
yeah.
because it was different.
Yes.
But also this is the latest iteration of the Toriyama animation, though. Like the important thing to note about this is that the animation changed a couple of movies ago. You just opened up a can of worms, Bruno. You don't even understand.
Hey, man. Hey, man. If it's
What?
beautiful and it's worth talking about, I'll talk about it.
Dude,
It's really interesting. It's really
my
interesting.
favorite thing outside of Linux in just enjoyment in general is pretty much anything Toriyama did, and that was Dragon Ball. So like Dragon Ball Super just happened, the Dragon Ball Heroes movie happened
Yes.
last year in English, and oh my god, I think I've seen it like 7 times since then, and the animation fully changed. Like they fully integrated this entire idea of 3D animation using 2D like stuff. I don't even know how to explain it, but oh man. And then I play Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle on the phone. It's like the only mobile game I play. I don't play mobile games, but I play that game, and it's just bubble popping with cool Dragon Ball animations. That's really all it is. It feels more than that because I enjoy it, but that's what it is. So yeah. Oh, I didn't even know this was a game. I knew about this guy because in Dokkan Battle, I was getting free stuff. So there's a thing. I didn't even know this. Okay, so I got to get into this.
Yeah, you get to see his father and stuff. There's really good interactions. Like it's all, it's pretty nuts. It's like something that the reason I raised it is I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know any of the history about it, and just seeing it vicariously, it's that interesting where you've got an attraction to it. Going, there's some stuff there that's really really cool.
And the
gameplay looks really fun because it's complicated. It's a little bit of that Final Fantasy-esque. That's the other thing that triggered me.
Cool.
It's a bit Final Fantasy-esque, but you get to see the cinematic of the outcomes of your actions. It's much more fluid. So even though you've got the pause to be able to make your decisions, it doesn't feel like everything paused. It feels like you chose the actions and everything continued to move in normal time, if that makes sense. Which I think is extremely fascinating to sort of see that kind of gameplay.
That's the way that D&D works, right? Like sure, it's minutes in between turns or whatever, but like the world doesn't stop because you suck.
Exactly. Everything continues to turn. Yeah. To be able to do that in a video game, I just feel like that's a really cool aspect to it. She was doing a battle the other day, and like, yes, there's the one-to-one kind of battles where it's all physical, but then there are others where you have the opportunity to do the strategic element in the battle, and I'm like, okay, that changes the game.
Yeah,
like,
I want to play this so much, but I'm pretty sure that would like kill us on Twitch, so I won't do that. But I'm gonna go watch this later. That's really cool, man.
Yeah, it's a cool game. Check it out.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna.
I would like to see a Blue Dragon port to PC at some point.
Hold on, what's this? What?
It's Xbox 360.
Xbox
It's an old
360 Blue Dragon?
Yeah.
What is this? Oh wait, this is a Toriyama thing, but not Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Dude, his animation or his like art style is just because there was another game.
Dragon Quest was the other big
Dragon Quest. That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is? Oh, is a TV series. What is this? I don't even know about this.
one. Oh, that's old school. Yeah.
Okay, something else I gotta watch. 51 episodes. That's easy. Dude, I just got off Naruto, which was like a gajillion episodes, and Bleach, which was like 500 episodes.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're talking about like long-running animes, I've never missed a single episode of One Piece.
Oh yeah, that is
You're
the
gonna go with that. That's
longest
that's on another
running
level.
anime
Yeah.
of all time, like forever.
I mean, it's not actually the longest-running anime of all time.
What?
That belongs to like a little kid show. I can't remember the name of it, but it's been going. But it's been
Okay.
going since like the late
That
80s.
I'm on,
Okay,
I'm
but
on
that's
Naruto.
like Sesame Street, where they just never stopped,
true.
even though we stopped
Play School's a
watching.
good example. Yeah, Play School
Right.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
My wife and I really like the live action of One Piece on Netflix.
Oh, dude, I've
No,
been
like
meaning to
the
watch
live action
that.
is
So you
actually good.
recommend
it's
it?
good. Oh, yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's next on my movie watching list. I've just bumped it up
It's
on your
it's not a
recommendation.
movie, it's a series.
Oh, oh, okay. Even better, because
Yeah.
I didn't have anything to do with the next 12 hours of my life.
Yeah.
But that's fine,
Have they
because
already-
that's actually true.
Did they also start the live action for the last Avatar as well?
Yeah, how was
Check
that?
that out.
I think they're redoing that the last Airbender the Avatar, but in a series live action though with like real people. I remember coming across.
Wait, that's
it.
not out yet. I thought that was out.
I don't know. I thought that was out already. That's what I was asking.
Okay, yeah.
that already
So
out?
that was another one, because I've never actually watched Atla. I've never actually watched the anime or the whatever, the animated
Really?
series of it. No.
Oh, wow. Oh,
I
it's a great
don't
watch.
I don't know if I was too old for that, or it just wasn't in my circles or whatever. But
Timing was off. Yeah.
maybe that's what that was. But I'd always heard stuff about it, but I never actually watched it. So
Hang
that
on, since
one's-
we're on the topic, and I know this changes it up, it's really important to me. Arcane. Please tell me you've seen Arcane.
Yes.
Oh my god! Thank goodness. Otherwise, we'd have serious issues for the future of the show.
But
just saying.
I'm
I
super.
just wanted to really clarify.
League of Legends is actually one of the games that I'm not a huge fan of MOBAs. I hate that type of game, because I'm just bad at like grouping up with randos and then having randos judge me on my performance. Like, that's just not something I'm really into.
I didn't play COD much. I played COD. That'll give you a thick skin.
Yep. Nope. I'm good. I appreciate it. Thank you, but no. That's just never been a huge like priority for me, and so it always pushed me away from the game. But the lore, like the characters in the game, the building, the different types of like, all of the different ways that you can play that game has always been super intriguing to me, and I've always enjoyed like the story that they would put out and the new characters that would come out and how they would integrate that in. And on top of that, they've had some of the most top tier animation. Their groups of people rivaled the multi-million dollars that Blizzard has sunk into their animated arms. And the fact that they came out with an entire show, Arcane, based on those animators bringing that to life in a multi-episode series was, dude, when it came out, I watched that when it came out because of that. It was a no-brainer. It was like, move everything else off my TV watching list and we're going to watch this. The one thing that I'm ashamed that I haven't watched yet is Fallout. I'm sorry to...
It's good. It's good.
I know it is. I don't even have to. First off, it's got I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy with no nose and the cowboy hat. His real that character or that actor. Starts with a G. Gibbons or Glabbins.
Walton Gibbons.
Goggins.
Goggins. Yes.
Goggins. It is Goggins. Yes.
I knew it would come to me in a minute.
Amazing actor. I
He
watched
is an amazing
him
actor.
in The Righteous Gemstones, and Baby Billy, he is the absolute best character in that entire show. And when I realized he was in Fallout, I already love Fallout. When I realized he was in Fallout, I was like, it's an easy watch. But I haven't watched it yet, and I feel bad.
I've only watched one episode, and yeah, he's great in it.
Dude,
The one episode that I watched.
didn't
So
even
It
I have
gets
no.
better.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it gets better, and I'm sure he's great in the rest of
Yeah,
it. So,
wasn't
yeah.
even a question. I knew he was gonna kill it. I knew he was gonna kill it. So I'm super excited about that show. Oh,
Well,
so
a friend of mine
excited.
started watching it, and I called him. I was coming over, and I was like, I was going to head off, and he's like, "No worries, I'm just ripping out the computer." I'm like, "Oh, you've got a computer?" I didn't even know he had one. He just moved into a new place, but he hasn't talked about a computer. I was like, "Oh yeah, I just watched Fallout, and like I wanna start playing Fallout again." So I helped him. I went over that night,
Yeah.
and I ended up getting his computer back online. Just so he could play Fallout
Yeah.
because the show triggered him. He just was like, "Oh yeah, I miss this thing too much."
Yep.
And he jumped on.
So season 2, they have to decide what's canon in New Vegas. That's what I think is gonna happen, right? Like, cause this the show exists is Fallout 3, and then season 2 is gonna be Fallout 3 New Vegas. But there are multiple lines that you can go down in Fallout New Vegas. They have to decide what's real in the show. So, is that gonna happen? I don't know. One other question I have for everybody. How does everybody feel about The Witcher? You watch that? I feel like if you're watching Fallout, you're watching The Witcher. So I mean, if you're watching The Witcher,
Ages ago.
yeah,
gave
then
up
you
that
know
Witcher, yeah.
Superman's not The Witcher anymore. And
No. That's no.
and
so-
so, what do we feel about that one? I mean, before we close
I'm
out,
more interested about what's happening with the Warhammer thing. Actually, I moved on to Witcher for sure. I've moved on from Witcher for sure.
but season 5, like, you're not even gonna watch it.
Yeah.
But I can't not watch it. I'm invested. It's like not watching the train wreck that was Game of Thrones. Like, you have to watch season 7 and 8. You know that it's going to be terrible. You heard what everybody said about it, but you still have to watch it because.
I'm fortunate because I was never a big Witcher guy, just like I was never a League of Legends guy.
Well, I wasn't
but
a Witcher guy
appreciate
until I
the
watched the
stuff.
series.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then season 1 through 4 happened, and I was like, God, I love this. And then you realize it's not going to be Henry Cavill anymore, and you're like,
No,
but I'm
that's where I'm at.
invested.
Nah, I
So
was invested in him portraying the
Yeah.
part and keeping it together. It's kind of like, hey, we haven't got Picard anymore, so we're gonna get someone else in to be Picard.
You still got to watch
has to
it.
be Patrick Stewart. No, it's not the same
Yeah.
Picard. It can't. When he says engage, it's gonna sound different. It's gonna hit different. It's not the. It's not the same.
It could hit better,
It could. It could.
but you'll never know.
No, well, I may if I get enough people saying, "Hey, it was amazing," but
Hey,
until that time,
It was amazing,
Yeah.
dude. I've never seen it, but it was. You should go watch it. Man. So I got to watch season 5. It's not out yet, I don't think, right? Witcher 5 is not out?
Not yet.
No, okay.
No, not
I'm
yet.
going to watch it. Okay. For the group, I will watch
You
it.
take one for the team.
Yeah,
Watch it for
I'm
us.
gonna take one for
All
the
right, that'd be
team. I'm
great.
gonna pop the popcorn.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Yeah.
sit down. We're gonna binge this, and I'm gonna let you guys know.
Did
4
you say
stars,
engage and how good
10
was it?
stars. We don't know.
Gotcha.
Okay, I'll come back. I'll let you know how that goes. But Fallout's fantastic. God, Walter
There's
Goggins.
too much to watch now. At the moment, there's actually quite a bit to watch, which is actually pretty exciting.
That's a
And
really
there's
good thing.
games in parallel. There are games that are happening at the same
Yeah.
time. Like for our world, I think there's actually quite a lot of choice. For over the last 4 to 6 months, and then for the next almost a year, I reckon we've got quite a fair bit of choice. And I'm glad it's not crappy Marvel movies or Star Trek.
Oh, I'm so
try-hards
glad, dude.
that
It's game series. Like it's
Yeah,
series that have been
yeah.
adapted from video games. That's the new thing. Like we're
But they're
done
doing
with
it- they're starting to do it well, though. That's the key differentiators. They're starting
Man,
to actually
so
kind of do it
far.
well.
So far, they've all been bangers. Like
Yeah.
outside of
There was
maybe
the
one or
Resident
two.
Evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Oh, Resident Evil as well. Was that good though?
No, not.
No.
okay, except that one. The game
let's see.
adaptations have been bangers, man.
The rest are great.
Yeah, not that one. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
that one.
Resident
Yeah.
The
Evil had a good
Witcher,
one. The
Fallout,
movies were good.
not Resident Evil.
Yeah. Yeah. But the movies were good. The Resident Evils were good. The old school Resident Evil movies were good for the time,
Yeah.
I think. And I think that's kind of like for them to really bring something to the table now, it has to be like really up there.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. I've got too much to watch and too much to do, so we'll
Yeah,
see how
not
this
enough
all
time to
goes.
watch.
I know,
That's my problem.
but Fallout is something that I'm
yeah, I'm gonna catch up.
It's next. It's next. I
Mhm.
paid absolutely way too much money to Amazon every year, and it doesn't. Not even including Prime. Like,
Yeah, I'm gonna anyway, so whatever.
yeah,
Oh, it's
exactly.
on
so-
Prime. I can watch it too. I thought it was on Netflix because I don't have
No,
Netflix
Prime.
anymore, but I got Prime and
Yeah,
Paramount.
it's a Prime. It's a
What-
Prime show. Yeah, it
Oh,
was.
Well,
well,
I mean, I don't know what things are like in Australia though. Actually,
they
what do you mean?
still
Fallout's
they
on
get 2-day
Prime?
shipping too.
what? No,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm just saying like stuff that's on Paramount here for us that shows
No,
up
no,
on
same here.
They
Netflix.
just raised their rates, by the way.
Yes.
Well, like
they did.
in Europe though, it shows up on Netflix.
Oh,
Yeah. We don't
it's
seem
weird.
to have that issue when
You
it
don't?
comes to
No.
Paramount and Prime stuff.
yeah.
Okay.
But Netflix content is definitely different. And
Yeah.
then I think Hulu as well. There's restrictions
Sure.
about what we can actually see on Hulu. So
Oh,
I
right.
don't play with those ones, but if it's on Paramount, which for me is obviously Star Trek and then comedy
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
which is great. And then I've got Prime for every now and then. There's something good like
Wheel
Good
of Time.
Omens. Well, Good
That's-
Omens
Oh,
was
dude, that's
Time?
another
That's
good
pretty
one.
good.
Dude,
Yeah.
TV's pretty
Yeah.
good right now because you don't have to
Mhm.
buy all the channels in one go for $90 a month.
Mhm.
Like,
Right.
Mhm.
uh,
Well, no, I spend that much anyway.
well,
just on
yeah,
all of them.
for as much as they're
But I get choice
reaming
now.
us,
Yeah.
it's still pretty decent because you can.
I feel better
cancel
about it.
some.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I feel better about it because I'm getting what I want.
Right,
Uh,
right.
Disney, HBO Max, and Prime, you can
Mhm.
just buy a year. You don't have to
Yeah.
pay per month to get a
Right,
discount.
and there is
Right,
a bit of
right.
a discount there, and I also get
I
free
get
shipping
that with
Prime.
Paramount
so
too. Paramount, I pay by the
They
year
do
and I get
year
a
for
discount
Paramount as
there
well.
too. Yeah.
HBO
Mhm.
would be great, but we don't get that down here.
Oh,
Mm.
well, that's why
Yeah,
you
we
just
can't-
need a VPN. Or there's this something or another called MKV. Something files. I don't know, but also I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe all the above.
Yeah,
Actually,
whatever.
just as a finisher off, just the last one. Remember we talked about app image and stuff. The one thing I sort of felt about app image was it's kind of like Laserdisc for me. Like I wanted
Yeah.
it to really be something,
Yes.
but it never. But if you look at it and you use it, it does the things you want it to
It's
do.
just not gonna.
It just is never ever gonna get to the point where
It's not
potentially-
VHS, but
It
it's
needed
definitely
a-
not DVD.
A repo. It doesn't automatically update, and it's all kind of its own thing.
Yeah.
It does. You
got-
can. Just no one
it's got
does
some
it to
jank.
what I've
Yeah.
You can actually update it. It's
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It requires too much of me. I think that's
Yeah.
my problem
Yeah.
with it. Is that
Yeah.
like it needs me to maintain it, and I'm like, man, there's a whole lot of effort that I can put toward things. And
Maybe it's complaining about that for years, going, I need full control. And then now they're like, but I need it to be automated so I can control it. Hang on, make up which one
I like
are you
automation.
doing?
Pretty accurate.
yeah.
So anyway,
So-
that was my last piece. But I know you guys are gonna go. I'm gonna take off as well.
Yeah.
Good seeing you all.
Good to
Good
see
seeing
you
you, Bruno.
too.
Take care.
All right,
Later.
y'all. I guess that's it.
I just
Yeah.
want to mention real quick though, Vazite and UBlue Secure Boot. It actually supports it. So
Yes. Yeah.
That's
I had
Oh,
to-
that's because Silverblue supports secure. boot.
yeah.
Right. It's the
Yes.
kernel. Yeah.
I had to
mhm,
turn
fine.
off to use the framework specific image of Aurora. I had to do weird secure boot dance.
Yes.
But now that all of the framework stuff is built into the base what
Yeah, basically
universal
image.
blue
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
It's hard to keep it together. Once
got
now
it,
that
you
it's
got it.
all in the base image, now I don't have to worry about that anymore.
Mhm.
So now
Just
Aurora,
register the key into the machine and you're good to go.
I just turned it off. I didn't bother
No, turn
anymore.
it back on, man. It
Okay,
works.
now I can. Well,
Right.
Good. I'm good now. All right,
Just wanna
y'all.
say that. All right.
All right. Cool.
Have yourselves a good
Been
one.
a fun one.
Yeah, definitely a fun one. Y'all have yourselves a good day, and
Yep.
we'll see you again on the next one.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye, y'all.